Alrighty, my friends. I am here for what's going to be a trippy experience in a second. I am here just making sure everything is working the way I want it to. I am trying to figure out some way to show this screen without giving you the entire display capture that you don't want to see right now, and I'm having a little problem with that because it's just being annoying. There we go. I just wanted to see the I want to check my frames down here, make sure everything's loading. So it seems fine. I'm going to maximize the screen in a moment. The only reason that you guys can see the chat is because I wanted to make sure that I had a way to maximize, minimize, in case I want to look at the chat real quick. I'm sorry, that's going to be annoying. There isn't a DotA thing for this. It's very frustrating to me. I don't get that at all. I just don't understand why it would be that way. There should just be one inside the DotA browser, but there isn't. What are you going to do? So I'm actually currently making sure that everything is working properly for just a moment. I was going to ask Falcon Mark to check because I know nobody's in the chat right now. He's going to send me a message because I can't see you guys' chat as effectively as I normally would be able to. It's just frustrating, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, they have built it like this. So, this change is gigantic. This is the biggest patch in a long time. It's not the biggest patch ever. There's definitely been bigger, but it's pretty large. So, with that in mind, I'm actually going to open my Discord for a second. My Discord is not a particularly private place, so I don't care if you guys see anything about that. You're allowed to go there, so you see the same thing I would. So, gameplay update 7.2. The map's been reworked. I have not seen it myself. I haven't had the chance. I've had to work every day, but I hear it's rather notable. We'll take a look at that. Obviously, it's once we start the game. Denies no longer give the denier 25% experience. This means that denying does not change your level. And the bigger factor there is that before you were very concerned with getting those denies to make the offlaner not gain such an advantage for being a 1v2 or some other such scenario, which means you're not going to get faster levels. So before, maybe you could get your level 2 before the offlaner got his level 2, if you're lucky, with enough denies. Just because you're getting a little more, he's getting a little less, even though he's solo experience. There's just nothing like that anymore. Experience is just experience. If he gets his, full share, you guys get your half of the share. That's going to change, of course, how fast you level in a lane that's heavy denies. Creep denies now give the denier 20% of the gold bounty. This is dramatic. I don't even understand why that changed. I think it's very strange. It's very strange. I think it's interesting. It means that the supports might be able to use those denies to get some support items. So that's kind of a factor. It also has carry. It's just like an anti-mage person. Okay, so I assume the Falcon can hear me. If you can hear me, Falcon, I can totally... The chat's there. I just can't see it because it's... So the chat's going to appear over the overlay, just for anybody who's chatting. It's going to appear in the overlay. I can't see the overlay. All I can see is if I do this. Oops. Trippy.
Yeah, I'll let you know if anyone says anything for the moment.
Yeah, no, the thing is that if I do this, what I'm about to do now, I can see the chat, but then you guys can re-see the chat, and that's just not as good of an experience.
Why don't you do the one inside DotA?
It doesn't let me. Is there an inside DotA one? Because it totally every time.
Yeah, there is. If you go to the envelope on top, just press the 720 gameplay. 1 sec. Oh no, it does. It transfers you outside. What?
Annoying, right?
That's weird.
I heard about the massive game losing bug with Troll, by the way, so I already know. But I'm gonna pop in and out of chat by doing this whole minimize maximize thing. I just want you to tell me because it'd be easier to see you on Steam because I can see that. But anyway, so the whole gold thing is kind of strange because as an anti-mage, I'm gonna get greedy. I want them all. I want all the last hits. I want all the denies. Unless the lane is incredibly contested, which it will be because we're gonna go back to dual lanes and tri lanes. Unless it's contested, I'm taking all that money for myself, and the support gets none of it because I'm going to get such fast items that's not gonna matter. But in an ideal world, the support you get that gold, and it's gonna make being a support an easier job.
By the way, it's not to help supports only. That is just to help offlaners because now offlaners can sit and get EXP without getting denied EXP.
Well, no, I said that, the experience is helping the offlaner. I'm saying
the gold doesn't really matter too much to the supports, though, because it's very minimal. And by the way, catapults give a crap ton of gold.
Well, if you deny 10 creeps, you get like 80 gold. That's enough for a
Yeah,
reward.
that's true. But when it comes to last hit or deny, you go for the last hit any day.
Of
So.
course. So teleporting just has its own slot now. I saw this in game. I did a little test lobby. It's just nice. It just goes on the. It attaches itself to the UI basically of the inventory. It's just nice not to waste the slot. It just helps slot efficiency because people have a lot of problems where they put their teleports in backpack because they don't have a lot of space left, and it's kind of an annoying mechanic because it's like I want my TP to be available. I bought one, but I can't really use it for 7 seconds. They want
Just
people
a
to
heads up.
respond.
Just a heads up, there's no quick cast for teleport scrolls yet.
There is not. There's no quick cast button currently.
Yeah.
You have to click it.
For now. So.
It'll change. We know it'll change. It doesn't change your cooldown with Boots of Travel. Upon teleporting, 10 seconds now added to your temporal scroll cooldown. I guess that means that you could actually run both Boots of Travel and a teleport, but it's supposed to punish you by making it a higher cooldown. It's not a big deal. I don't think that's going to be a thing where people are running both Boots of Travel and teleports, so it doesn't really matter. They upped the stacking bounty again because they really, really, really want supports to be stacking. They do not want carries to take their own camps, like to stack their own camps and take them. They want somebody else to stack them. And any non-neutral in the entire jungle had its bounty increased by 5%. That's huge. That means they're worth so much gold, everything that's non-ancient.
By the way, if you want to drag Inferior in, it's up to you.
You can. Are you able to?
I can't. Remember this server, somehow I can't drag people, I just drag rooms.
There we go. All good.
Yeah.
What's up, Inferi? Catch up on the... Have you read the patch notes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're very, very...
I mean, we don't say anything about heroes until we get there.
Yeah,
anyway.
don't spoil
I won't. Don't worry.
I
would complain in the chat.
I'll just add on anything you say, whatever you're going through right now. So.
I keep having to pop into my slobs and I feel bad because I have to fix this. There we go. I think the extra bounty on neutral creeps means that entire farming sheet I created and showed you guys at that last stream, all 2 streams ago, is entirely irrelevant. It doesn't even count anymore because they've changed everything. But I will say that on that entire contingency of how much stuff is worth, it is worth the same, minus that 5% increase, which means that going to jungle to take camps is actually slightly more profitable, which means you might be able to justify going into jungle just to farm with a Maelstrom or a Mask of Madness earlier than you would have been before as a carry. Minus the fact that you can now take denies if you have an uncontested lane. So it's kind of a ebb and flow, but it's just there's more money on the map to get, basically. Randoming, which has changed entirely again. They just removed the whole pool of random heroes. Instead, you can random anybody except your 25 least played. The bonuses are still there when you do random. That's nice, because there's always those couple heroes you don't want to play, right? Like, I don't want to random Meepo. I don't want to random Lone Druid. You know, those are heroes I just don't want to play, and I'm not going to if I don't play them very often. It's just nice because it helps somebody like me who plays a lot of heroes, but not all of the heroes. And it gives you that same benefit from before, and it's just nice. It also stopped people from randoming as the last couple picks. Only the first 2 hero picks in your team can random. So, no more 4th pick randoms. Armor was changed again. I saw a graph on this. I'm not sure about its authenticity, so do not quote me personally on this. I watched Purge for some of his video, but I couldn't watch the entire 8 hours it took him. 8 hours on this patch.
I did see part of it. I
he
went
goes
to sleep.
slow, but I'll say he said that from what he understood, from what he looked at on other equations, the armor is very much the same for most armor levels. So like 0 to like 30 armor or something, it's basically the same change to your effective health. But as you get to higher armor values, it starts to give you a little bit more efficiency. And also negative armor used to be like pretty painful, but it was the line kind of tapered, so it didn't hit you too hard once you got to a ridiculous negative. It no longer does that. It is a crazy line. You start to go negative, your effective health starts to drop dramatically. It's like you tank. I don't even know why my DotA's open, by the way. I think I should probably close it because it's not even helping me. It's just making sounds in the background. It like literally it tanks your effective health. So it's pretty big to have negative armor now. So stacking an AC with a Deso and Slaughter all that is obnoxious. So be very careful about getting negative armor. It also changed the armor values for the towers to kind of match up with this new formula. And also some changes further below. I'm not going to talk about them in particular. It's just trying to make things more fitting what they want for armor values at different levels in the game. Unless most of them went down because armor is a tiny bit more efficient. But I think it actually is, even though it's more efficient, it is technically a nerf to the armor that they have, because I'm pretty sure that at this level of armor, like the 12 to 17 range, it's not big enough to equal that big of a shift. So it's actually nerfing the armor on almost all these buildings. So Killing Spree now gives an XP bonus ranging from 200 to 1250. And it is, they reworked the XP hero bonus in general. It's much simpler now. It used to take into account the XP comeback. They just got rid of XP comeback. It's over. He's taken into consideration like all kinds of crazy things with the old system of XP. So now instead it's simple. It takes a multiplication of the dying hero's XP divided by the number of killers and some little numbers there. So it's a much simpler thing. There's no more comeback ridiculousness. There might still be a comeback from a particularly high XP hero. Kill a level 25 anti-mage when you're level 14. Yeah, there's going to be crazy XP to go around. But instead of like, oh, we're 16, they're 18, I kill them and we're down in net worth and stuff, and our team is a little bit behind. Like I have a level 6 Crystal Maiden. Oh gosh, I'm now suddenly level 22, you know, and it doesn't do that anymore. There's no more comeback mechanic, and this is going to definitely hurt the comeback meta, at least a little bit.
I mean, it's less longer games.
Games should be shorter in that regard. That's true. Mana and HP regen, this is very, very complicated to understand in the nitty-gritty.
From what I know, it's the same except with some slight changes.
It's not the same, but it won't affect things so dramatically.
No, it won't affect things.
All it is
intelligence.
Before, you get mana regen and HP regen from items. I pick up a Ring of Health, it gives me like 4 or something. And my strength multiplies that. That's what they did when they changed it last time. That's what it changed to. It used to just be weird before. Now, it's your health and your int, your strength and int, just give you a small amount of regen themselves, which is how it used to be back before.
So basically, it doesn't affect your early game for the fact that now basically...
It does affect the early game because now it's harder to get quick regen on strength heroes. Strength heroes are going to suffer their mana pools.
What I'm trying to say is that basically there is no base value of the whole thing. There's nothing at the bottom, basically. It's basically 0. And now each point of intelligence gives you a certain amount of mana, and each point of strength gives you a certain amount of
Right, they used to be multiplicative. They also removed the base mana regen of 0.9. That means it's harder to get mana regen because your base int has to get you there, and it doesn't. So anybody who's not an int hero probably will not have as much mana regen right from the get-go. And that's going to hurt people like Sven and Tiny, who like to cast a lot early. It's going to be very much... You have to buy Clarities. You have to buy Clarities and Mangoes. It's the end.
Or they reworked all the regen items anyway. So.
Yeah, they're supposed to balance into that, though. Purge said that some of them are a little bit balanced more than others, meaning that some are stronger now or weaker now. But for the most part, he was looking at them because he went into it in-depth that I just can't do right now. There's no time. And basically said, I'm going over 6 with this, obviously, but which is 60 minutes from now. But the point is that basically some of them are a little bit stronger than they ever were before. Like Scythe is way stronger than it was before, even considering that you can't multiply it from your intelligence. But more or less, the entire idea is that these just changed to fit the paradigm that they're not being multiplied anymore. They were made to be multiplied by your int. Now that they're not, they have to provide you higher value in of themselves, and they all do across the board. Like Bloodstone barely does. But it got changed too, wouldn't you know? But a lot of other things got higher buffs. Like Scythe of Ice is ridiculous. They barely changed Basilius, all that stuff. So it's just small stuff. Same thing with health. I'm not going to get into it, but the same thing is that your base regen values were reduced to be covered by strength. So that means int heroes don't heal as fast. They need healing items. And the same thing across the board. They changed a lot of abilities and stuff that give you health to balance that with that. And talents too. We'll just keep going.
The ones that get screwed the most is edgy heroes, because edgy heroes most of the time don't have that high strength and that high intelligence.
Yes, exactly. Yes, edgy heroes are going to suffer a little bit with their int, their mana regen and their health.
And
they're
health
regen items. Town portal scrolls can no longer be canceled. Cast it when you're rooted, and they're canceled by root. So root has been buffed. Which, unfortunately, Root gets a slap down as we go further down the page, but Root got buffed because now you can just cast Atos and be like, no, you can't TP. And that's because Crystal Maiden's Root used to cancel TPs and channeling, and they decided, why would we have certain roots do certain stat specs and not others? So they decided that they will cancel channeling TP in particular. However, on the same note, they changed it that other stuff happens, which I guess isn't even here yet, but we'll get there. They also fixed inconsistency between different roots. Strat now provides True Sight, by the way, which I think is crazy.
It's a Dreeble buff. There you go.
That's crazy. Stasis, I didn't even think Stasis Trap for a second. I was thinking of Psy Trap. But now, yeah, that's actually really strong.
It is techies.
Is it only a True Sight when it procs, though? Like when it goes off? Or when it's...
Yeah, only when it goes off, yes.
Okay.
So basically,
that's a buff,
if
but that's
an
not gigantic.
Yeah, but if an Invis hero walks into it, he gets.
Yeah, but it's not as big because most Invis heroes will then hit it before it goes off because you can see it.
No, you
right?
won't see it because stasis traps. You can't see stasis traps.
Yeah, you can't do that. To stasis
Oh, they
traps.
don't reveal. Yeah, I guess that does. That's
No.
a pretty big buff, I suppose.
Yeah.
It just basically this is just a counter to Invis heroes because it's saying
You,
you're over my minds, but I don't see you. But now I do. It's nice.
Yeah, so if techie players that put stasis traps and choke points pretty much are pretty rewarded in that sense.
Yeah. The following routes no longer interrupt channeling spells or the current action. It's basically almost all of them. The entire idea is that they do not want routes to interrupt you channeling different spells, like Witch Doctor, Alt,
That's
Enigma,
a buff to
Black
Enigma
Hole.
if I haven't seen one.
Purge said this entire patch is like a buff to Enigma for most of the changes up until the hero changes.
And Enigma was actually what you call overpicked in the KO.
He was, and that's shocking to me. He's buffed in this. A lot of things
later on. We'll get to him later on, but
a lot of things change as we go down.
Yeah.
Cleave is bigger in all regards, and now it doesn't have as janky mechanics. So before I right click, let's just say I right click Sven, and there's a bunch of creeps behind him. It would completely ignore the creeps armor behind Sven, and they just take damage. It's still
so. For example, let's say Sven cleaves hits the first creep.
I think I was hitting Sven, but fine. Sven hits a creep for like 1,000 damage.
Yeah.
Crystal Maiden does not get to use her armor at all for that if she's standing behind those creeps.
Every creep and every hero behind it will take 1,000 damage. Yes. Basically.
And it's pretty ridiculous.
They Same with Kunkka, by the way. Same with
Kunkka too. It changed it so that now your armor does count. This also means negative armor, because of the change to negative armor being so strong once you go negative, is really big. Purge even joked that he was kind of serious, kind of not, that you could use Medallion on Kunkka. You put Medallion on the enemy who's behind creeps in lane, and then hit the creep wave. And if their armor goes negative by the Medallion, it will do more damage than it ever did before.
I mean, I'll point out a few other heroes that are very interesting with this mechanic. Also, because of this change, means heroes that cleave are not very good at fighting early to mid game. They're better later on, though, when they do more damage.
Hey, Dracus, I see you, by the way. It's because I'm in the browser mode. It's really hard to do. Yeah, I can only see you by doing this. I just guessed that somebody was in chat. Funny enough.
No, we spoke to him. He knows. So there you go.
I know, but I still felt the need to answer. I'm glad Dracus is here. So basically, Cleave is bigger in all regards. It's really nice. They also fixed some weird janky stuff. TA used to be able to Psyblade. Purge said this. She used to be able to Psyblade and do crazy spill off of illusions, but they fixed it because now illusions incoming damage is processed differently. It's just to make sure that things like that don't get broken. I guess it used to splash over like extra damage on top of it and stuff. It was weird, but they're just making it so that it makes sense. Splash attacks are being made more regulated, like Dragon Knight Splash. Splash also used to be affected by a spell Lifesteal and Spell Amp, so that doesn't work anymore because that used to happen.
So it's more of a magic cleave, basically. There you go. Splash
used to ignore armor. Dragon Knight apparently used to have the Black Dragon. The Black Dragon Splash attack used to be magic. Now it's physical, and now it does its full damage in the AoE, which is nice. Dragon Knight Splash damage was also changed in a similar regard. This is just to regulate Cleave and Splash attacks to be more normal, and I'm really happy about the Cleave in particular because Cleave is strong.
By the way, that's a small buff to Chen and Enchantress now, by the way.
Why?
Slash now does AoE physical damage. Physical is an overall better than magical later on anyway because of health.
That's true. That's true. You are correct, good sir. Good point. Yeah. The Black Dragon's actually stronger later. I will also note that I like the Cleave's increased range on on a lot of units because I think that's really strong for the standard Cleave, which I guess would be Battle Fury and stuff too. It's just nice because you'll hit more units. The downside is that people will be more survivable. So before I could try to cheat the system before. Crystal Maiden is standing in front of Dragon Knight and I'm Sven. I hit Crystal Maiden, Dragon Knight takes full. I ignore his armor bonuses. Now I can't do that. So armor matters more. But in the same token, that also means I can hit Dragon Knight and still do full grant damage to Crystal Maiden. So now I don't have to choose who I'm hitting, right? Hitting anybody is going to have the same effect.
I'd like to point out, this is also a minor buff to illusion heroes, like PL.
Why?
There you go.
Because they can get armor.
Yep. So when you hit illusions,
the Cleave radius.
I mean, the Cleave, they do extra damage, true, because they take extra damage, but then it's reduced by the armor of the illusion as well as the illusions. Well, it depends on what PL illusion. Some PL illusions don't take any damage at all.
Yeah.
But the one that takes 100% damage only, the one of the illusions where you doppelgangers. And
it's a lot of weird changes.
It is a minor buff to PL, basically.
We'll keep moving, but yeah. I agree.
You can't buff illusions. Same thing with TB, but not so much TB though, because TB solutions die a lot. Now we'll come to CK later because
we're
gonna
go to everybody later when we go past them.
Yeah,
all right, spell immunity and dispels. So BKB is broken now. I'm just throwing that out there. All of these abilities don't pierce BKB. I'm not gonna get into all of them, but some of the ones that actually matter. Curse of Avernus, that's super big. Being Abaddon hitting a BKB hero is the only way to stop them from going crazy.
I'd like
sometimes.
to point out there is a change to that. That's why.
I know.
So...
Blood Rage and Thirst. That's pretty big. That's Bloodseeker nerfs. Epicenter, no attack slow on BKB heroes. Anchor Smash, you can't reduce their damage. A lot of these are slows. I'm not going to go into those, but a lot of the slows don't work on BKB heroes anymore. You can't target with Life Drain, which means you can't target your allies with Life Drain either. So if your allies BKB, you have your Sven going nuts, and you want to heal him, too bad. So that's a pretty big nerf.
It's a buff to like other healing.
Requiem Souls doesn't pierce, so you can't get that damage reduction on people. It's just a lot of ridiculous things that just don't pierce anymore, and it's really big. BKB did get its cost increased slightly. Does not matter. It is not a big deal. And now Poison Sting can be dispelled, and Hex State can be removed by strong dispels. Example, I'm Slark. I activate Dark Pact to move in. Lion says, no, thank you, and casts Scythe of Ice on me. I say, ha, and I purge the Hex.
Also, Omni
Legion Commander.
I'm not going to say that because Omni Knight, that was a new skill, so
I know,
forget about
but
it.
Legion Commander, if you have an ally who's hexed, nope, you're not hexed. Don't care.
What you call, you couldn't unhex someone with a Lotus Orb, now you can.
Now you can. So Hex is way weaker. This is a huge nerf to Hex. It is gigantic. Scythe of Ice.
I mean, it was
the value has tanked minus the mana regen buff for certain heroes.
The reason is because before this, like 3 or 4 patches ago, they made Hex undispellable, literally undispellable by anything.
And I like cats.
It made Hex like really strong 2 patches ago.
They did. Hex has been changed a lot actually. Hex is just in a weird spot.
Towers it's up and down. It's up and down because before this it was pretty weak, and then they buffed it like 2 or 3 patches ago.
It's gone so up and down over the time because before Hex used to be a very unique thing that also it used to break you back in the day. Then it didn't break you, and then the mana cost of Hex went up, and then Hex got stronger because it couldn't be dispelled by certain things. And
no, they couldn't be dispelled by anything.
Yeah,
they made it. Nothing can dispel Hex. That's what made Lion really strong. Or Sheepstick.
Towers no longer gain armor per nearby enemy hero. So I always forget about this, and Purge said he forgot about it too. But when you're standing next to a tower, it used to give extra armor to the tower. The more
I didn't think about it, to be fair. Most of the towers go down anyway.
Yeah, but now they don't give the extra armor, which means defending as a team isn't always as beneficial. But the health of the towers did go up, as did the buildings inside the base. So this makes it easier to defend as a solo hero. So like someone like Coddle, which whatever, that's a bad example. But
I mean,
like
it's still not going to stop a Terrorblade.
I know, but it's going to help against like a couple heroes, right? Like if if a couple heroes come over and start trying to wail on it, it has more health. I mean, and you can kind of
if you think about it, if you think about it, if you have 4 heroes pushing a lane, and then you have like 4 heroes defending.
Falcon, I just considered this. This is something I didn't consider the first time. So what happens when we increase the health of a building?
The deny range.
The deny range goes up. So instead of 160 health for denying towers,
it's 180.
It's 180, which means
and
that it's safe. You can rebuff the person easier without them being able to force the tower to go down without you denying, because you have that bigger range to work with.
To be fair, it's only 20 health.
Still 20 health is a lot. When
20 health is about 1
most
creep
supports.
Attack.
No, it's
most
not.
creeps attack is 20 health.
Not after the armor. Most creeps hit for like 5.
Yeah, well, for 5.
Heroes, I don't know about now,
one wave for creep. One wave for creep hitting. It's not
right,
much,
but the point is that
it doesn't make much
to
difference to like. It does not make much difference to like someone like Terrorblade. Literally.
No, of course it doesn't. I'm just saying that for regular pushes.
What I'm trying to say is that with the changes to the armor, they introduced the health, so they're trying to balance it so that even if you like before you had 4 heroes versus 4 heroes, or 3 heroes, then the tower will be a little bit too strong. Whereas now, it's not as strong. Basically, if you have a massive team fight.
All right, gotta keep moving though. We're not running low, but we gotta keep moving. Miscellaneous changes. Day-night cycle increased from 4 to 5. Purge said this is nice because now the bounty runes come up at the day-night cycle change, which is really cool. It's also really a buff to Night Stalker because he has longer to take action.
Because Night Stalker has been a dumpster for 6 months.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I like the change. I just think 5 is a better time than 4. 4 is hard to remember. 5 is always gonna stick in my head forever. So after like about a month of doing this, I won't forget ever again. Scan no longer ignores...
it links itself with the freaking bounty runes now, but you have to remember the 2-minute normal power runes.
Yes. Scan no longer ignores units in the Roche Pit, which means a solo
That's
Ursa or
nice.
solo or troll you can see. That's really why they did that. Is
That's
because
really nice.
certain heroes kind of get by.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind of an
that,
abuse.
that's
Best-
something
best-
that really should be there.
I mean, best thing you could do was scan outside Roche Pit, the entrance.
Hope for a
yeah.
support standing by, but for someone like Ursa,
Yeah.
they won't. They're just gonna have a ward in the city.
Because if they have like a team fight hero, they're most likely not going to be in the pit. There you go.
Right. Max attack speed increased from 600 to 700. Most heroes aren't going to hit this, but for some heroes, it's going
I
to
can think of one,
Wind Ranger.
and I can think of two actually
Ursa?
now. No, there's more than that. With the current changes, okay, keep going because we'll get
there. We'll get there. I know there's
We'll
some
get
changes.
back- we'll
I'm
get
just
that back.
saying,
We'll-
someone like Troll, someone like Wind Ranger, someone like Ursa can probably hit this cap with the right items, and that means that they're even stronger late game. I'm glad with
but
Anti-Mage because now if I'm Anti-Mage and I'm 7 slotted,
Yeah,
and if
but
Invoker
the
wants to
two
throw
new
Alacrity
heroes.
on me, I can actually go higher than I could before. So I'm even stronger at that moment of Alacrity, and I know that's a very specific circumstance, but it happens, right? Ogre throws his Blood Rage, whatever. My, Blood Rage got changed too. But
Just
all the
keep
same.
going because those two heroes, I
Yo.
can tell you now, it's a
I
massive
know, I've
thing.
seen everything. Default aura range was increased. This is really big. It doesn't increase Gem, Heartstopper, Aura, Tower Aura, Natural Order, because those would be too strong. But it's really good for like a Mechanism Aura, Pipe Aura. It's going to really increase the range you can spread from your team in a team fight and still get the benefits. And I'm really happy.
Aura.
Oh, Vlad. Yeah, Atrophy Aura.
Yeah.
It's just a really nice
don't talk
change.
about friggin' Atrophy Aura.
Remove movement speed modifiers from spawn creeps. It's because before the first couple creeps, the first waves started to move faster to meet in a certain spot. This just went away.
You're basically gonna meet exactly in the middle. There you go.
Yeah, it's just better. It's just.
But
nice.
it's not exactly in the middle for the fact because they make certain lanes shorter and certain lanes longer. That's how it
Yeah,
works.
it's gonna be weird.
So the safe lane is slightly longer, while the off lane is slightly shorter depending on which side.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
New sound gets
that-
played when
that's
all the
nice.
barracks are down. That's just nice. Quality of life changes basically. These three things are just quality of life changes.
The mega creep sound. There you
Yeah,
go.
mega creep sound. Shops highlight the whole shop with
That's
the items that you
really
can
nice.
buy, which is nice because sometimes I would walk in a shop.
That
You guys
is
have seen me
really
do
nice
it.
because
I'm gonna buy
you go
something
to the
that's not
side
in the side shop, but it opens the wrong shop,
Yeah.
and I have to walk out then open the real shop. Very frustrating.
Now that you go to the side shop, it only highlights the items that's available to buy, but you can still buy the other items outside of it.
AoE of other wards are shown, so when you go to put down a ward, the AoE of any wards in the area will show on your screen, so you can realize, oh yeah, there's already a ward here. My bad. Purge even admitted that he does that sometimes. He puts wards down where there's already wards, so that's going to help a lot. New game state, Leashed. Leashed already existed technically, but it wasn't an official state. It was only under certain circumstances, so now it's a real thing. Leashed is basically like Rooted, except you can still move. You just can't move outside the leash. It still stops teleports, just like Root, which is really strong. So this means that if Slark pounces you, you can't TP out. You just can't.
It cancels TPs as well, by the way, so the mid TP.
It'll also cancel it in the moment, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
It'll cancel CPs. You can't use Blink Dagger. You can't use Anti-Mage's Blink. You can't use Storm Spirit ult, to my understanding. That's what the Purge said. He wasn't 100%
We'll
sure.
keep on going, by the way, because there's another way to break things, by the way.
No, I know, but it's a really, really big deal. This sucks. It makes Slark so strong. It's the second Slark buff. There's a lot more coming. Don't worry.
I mean, he's a dumpster for the last week.
You can still
Few
move
months.
around, just not outside the leash range. Pound, Stream Coil, and Soulbind are the only things that leash right now. This is really strong for Puck because it means Puck is now a counter to some heroes like Storm Spirit, Quap, Anti-Mage, etc. And Soulbind already kind of did that, so it makes sense. Self-damage no longer disables things like Clarity's Bottles and Blink. That means that Pudge Rot does not cancel your stuff, which is amazing. Thank you.
Slark as well.
Slark
cute.
Dark Pact,
Dark Pact.
Abaddon using Mist Coil.
Let's call it Centaur.
Centaur. Lifesteal amount is no longer limited to the current HP of the target unit. It uses full damage you're dealing instead. I'm PA. I go to hit a creep that has 300 health. I hit it for 1200. Before, it says, well, that's too bad. You gain, 20% of the 300 it had. You suck. Now it's, I did 1200, I do my 20% of 1200. It's really, really good for things like Satanic. So if I jump a Crystal Maiden with Satanic Arm,
It's a buff to those items. Yeah.
I gain a lot more health on the killing hit. This makes it really strong to have any lifesteal at all for high damage heroes. It's a big buff to anybody who does a lot of damage and buys lifesteal. Backpack can no longer be manipulated while taunted. I didn't even know you
So
could do
basically,
this.
what happened is like when Winter Wyvern used the
You got
ult,
cut, Falcon. I
basically-
know what happens. Why are you cutting me off, bro? When Winter Wyvern used ult on your team, any hero that's not the person getting hit could put all their damage items out of their inventory, and then you don't do that much damage. And as soon as the ult's over, you put them back in. You actually quick swap them, so they're still on cooldown. And
it
when
was
Axe
abused.
taunted, you would do the same thing if he has Blade Mail. He has Blade Mail? Whatever, put all your stuff out. They're changing that because that's ridiculous and an annoying mechanic. So thank you for removing that.
It was massively abusing pro games.
Yeah,
So-
I never saw it because I don't want to watch a lot of pro games, but I also don't play those heroes, so didn't matter. Reduce the following movement speed talents. Basically, this is happening because of a move speed change coming below, so don't really panic. There's a lot of move speed changes, but it's for a reason. I'm just gonna skip it. Intelligence heroes strength gain was increased by 0.2. It's very minimal, except these heroes, because screw these heroes. It's just a nice way to give them a little bit more health and regen.
Health regen.
Observer and sentry wards now prints out a notification in chat if you kill them. Dewarding is basically supposed to be rewarded so your team sees you're doing something. Respawn time for earlier levels was increased because I guess people thought you come back too fast when you're at level 1, 2, 3, and 4.
No, it's the pro games again. So basically what they do is that rather than go back to base, wall order back to base, they kill themselves and then they respawn and then they just TP back in. There
Either
you
way,
go.
the point is it'll take a little bit longer to respawn levels 1.
By the way, Cooksy says hi.
Hi, Cooksy! Sorry, the whole thing, because it's not in Dota, is all messed up, so my thing doesn't show me what I want. It's very frustrating. Turn rate change was apparently changed back to what it was. It just means that your turn rate can be slower in certain circumstances now. It is slower, I guess, which kind of stinks because that means you turn slowly.
It's a buff to Bat Rider.
I was going to say Bat Rider. Yes, Sticky Napalm. You're going to turn so slow. It's ridiculous. Any attribute growth value that had 2 decimal points. This is. I'm looking at you, Silencer.
Just so you know, it's a mini buff to someone else. That's someone's favorite hero in chat. You will get to that. Just keep going.
We'll get there. I get it. It's yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. It took me a second. So the attribute growth values that are decimal points, 2 decimal points, like Silencer used to have, I think, like a 1.45 or something for some stupid stat, have just been rounded up because that's ridiculous. Nobody needs 2 decimal points for their gain of any stat. Shrines also restore more HP and mana. This is to max out the fact that before the regen it was giving you would be multiplied by your strength or intelligence, so now it just gives you a better percentage for it.
Also, it's better late game.
It's always, of course, it's much better late game. All these items change their move speed. Now they're percentage based instead of a static amount, and this is why they had to reduce those talents because they could be abused otherwise. So all these boots and other such things give percentage based move speed instead. This changes a lot. So it's supposed to be basically similar.
So basically, instead of adding a single number or some sort, it's now a percentage.
Apparently, boots are still a little bit slower than they were before, and Yule's being slower than it was before. So it actually is a nerf to boots in general and Yule's, which means the buff to everything else, technically speaking.
Because Yule's was being bought by everyone, literally.
Yule's gets its own love further down. If I remember correct. Its mana regen was nice. It got some love in mana regen.
Yeah, I mean, they have to.
The interesting thing here you're going to notice is that phase and power treads have the same as boots of speed, but there's a reason for that.
We'll get to that as well, by the way. We'll get to that.
The best thing you can get is obviously Tranquils are pretty high, and Travels is ridiculous, but it is what it is. So phase boots. I know very much about this. I talked about this in detail with somebody else. I forget who I was talking to. And I also listened to Purge talk about it. So, it no longer is an active, it's a passive now. When you walk at any unit that you're allowed to attack, when you have like a valid attack order to any unit, you will move faster, you phase, and your turn rate's improved. It is no cooldown at all, so as long as you're moving towards a unit to attack, you always get this buff. As soon as you turn around, 0.5 seconds later, the buff will end.
Can I just say that this is a miniaturized PL Phantom Rush?
Yes, it's like a Phantom Rush from PL, except not nearly as fast. The reason that you have this is so that units don't have to keep spamming phase boots, right? Like let's just say you're a PA chasing someone. You don't have to keep spamming phase boots. You just chase them. Like, right, you focus more on the juking and more on the using the abilities. You just go faster. There is a maximum range of 900. That's to stop you from doing obnoxious things. Like, I want to run back to base. I'm going to run diagonally and click on this random jungle creep across the map and use that to run faster. Or I want to run a top lane. I'm going to click on the enemy in top lane to go there faster. You can't do that. There's a range.
It means like heroes that likes to stick on people. We'll get to that again. Basically, have an easier time sticking on people.
The ranged heroes got their percentage of speed reduced again, so please don't buy phase boots or ranged heroes. And they reworked the recipe. So it used to cost $13.60, now it costs $15.50, and they changed to 100% what this boot does. So it used to do damage and move speed. Now it still does move speed. It does armor, which is crazy, and attack speed. Purge said in his opinion, and Purge isn't like the universal, ruler on this stuff, but he said this is solely for strength melee heroes. If you're not a strength melee hero, you probably should not buy this item in most cases. There might be exceptions, though. The armor is really nice to be a melee hero. I'm going into melee. They're going to hit me. That's okay. I have armor. What's up?
Sorry to interrupt, but can I point out this item is amazing on Slok?
Yep. Agree, because his ult will help boost the speed.
Not only that, I mean, without a shadow plate, you already can chase someone down. That's how good it is.
Makes sense. That's really strong. Conversely, you would wonder why attack speed on phase when Treads is already attack speed. Well, not anymore. Now requires blade of attack instead of gloves of haste. That's cheaper, by the way. Treads are cheaper, everyone. By a tiny bit. What is it? 430 instead of 450? No, gloves of haste are 500. So that is a 70 gold cheaper power treads that does 16 damage instead of its old 15 attack speed. Was that what it was, or 20?
I think it was 20.
Gloves of haste is 500. Blades of attack is 450 or 475.
No, I'm talking about what treads did for their attack speed. Can you look it up over quick, fucking? I think it was 20. It's down to 16 damage, which you would say is worse, of course. 16 damage is worse than 20 attack speed once you get into like the mid-ish game. However, the attribute bonus increased by 2, which means if you're an agility hero holding treads, you get some more damage than you got before, and you get more attack speed from that, because you get 1.5. So that means you actually get 3 attack speed just from this change by itself. So power treads are going to be for a lot of agility heroes, because the agility on power treads
25
is so
attack
strong.
speed.
Yep,
25 attack speed. Yeah,
that's a lot. I would say it's definitely a change. I'm kind of sad to lose the attack speed on some of the heroes I used to buy it on. But I'm still going to think I'm still going to buy treads on anti-mage because the extra agility is too good. And tread switching is so much stronger now.
It's strong.
Health
and
mana is bigger, and that pool of mana that you use percentage-wise, it matters a lot when you're tread switching.
However,
so it's
for
make
heroes
it
that
way easier.
for heroes that you used to buy treads on mostly, like for example CK and all that, you might not want to buy it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's gonna be hard. The mana nerf for strength heroes is really gonna hurt them if they don't buy treads.
Yeah, but I think phase is too strong.
It's too strong.
Phase,
you
basically want to stick like CK. You want to stick on the person to hit them. So phase is too good.
Plus, the attack speed helps you hit them more on phase. Tranquils no longer gets disabled by attacking creeps. This is a huge buff to anybody who stands back with Tranquils, like Caudal, like Phoenix. It really helps them stand back and hit the creeps and still get last hits in the eyes. And if they don't get hit, that's fine. Full regen. It also helps Axe if he chases you. If you don't hit Axe back, not good. You have to cancel Tranquils on people who chase you now. Podge 2. He's going to chase you with Rot. If you don't turn around and hit him, he's going to keep all that move speed and all that.
Wait, hang on. Does it affect Rot?
Rot never turned off Tranquils. But if he can hit you while he's running. So if I'm Pudge chasing you, I'm going to hit you now and run at you, right? I'm going to be behind you with Rot, right-clicking you as we run. If you don't hit me back, I'm not going to slow down.
No, because it's still going to go off when you hit a hero. It's only creeps.
Okay, I missed that. Fair enough.
Yeah, you got that wrong.
Doesn't help Pudge, but it totally still helps Axe.
Yeah.
Because he can attack creeps in the creep wave. And
you can still attack creeps now. So.
It's still, if they hit you, it still turns out Tranquils, which kind of sucks, but whatever. Sanj and Yasha changed a lot as the all items built out of them, dramatically. So it's going to be big. This is going to be hard. Sanj now provides 12 status resistance instead of maim. So does Halberd, a little bit more. So does Sanj and Yasha, even more than that. So status resistance is coming back, I guess. There's not many sources of it, but that's really nice.
Well, there's a reason as well.
Yeah, there's a reason.
We'll get to it.
Finally, Sanj and Yasha got their price reduced to get back close to what it was before. It used to be 600.
It's the same. It used to be 650.
No, it used to be 600. Then it was 650. Then it was 700.
Yeah, but I know.
Now it's 650, which is fine. This means that a value Yasha might be more viable now, because I complained about value Yasha because its price had been up twice, but now it might be okay. Kaya, its price was increased to match Sanj and Yasha. I am so glad its price was increased. Kaya is broken at 500 gold for the recipe. That is, I'm glad 150 gold got out of it. It's such a strong item. Now they added, and everybody wanted it, Yasha and Kaya and Sanj. Thank you.
I mean, it's only to match it. Basically.
Now these 3 items can be combined in any way, shape, or form you want. More or less, they don't increase their efficiency as much. I'm not going to go over it, but you can kind of see like what Sanj, Yasha, Kaya do and what the different variations do. It more or less just kind of like gently buffs all of the stats on it. There's nothing special that happens. It's just like this item has a little this item has a little this. You get a little bit more of all of those things. It's nothing ridiculous. There's no like special ability. It's just these 2 items get a little
used to give mana loss reduction, by the way?
Yes,
always.
Okay.
However, it gives less spell amp.
Oh.
So, if you want anything, you have to upgrade it if you want it to be better than what it used. Otherwise, it's worse.
Did they nerf it? It didn't say that.
It's
they
8%.
did. Oh yeah, they did.
Now.
Okay, they
It
did
used to be
rebalance. I
10.
didn't even see that. Yeah, it used to be 10 spell amp. Now it's 8.
Yeah, if you go down, yeah.
That's pretty interesting. They changed like some of the little things on that. You can balance these yourself. I'm not gonna get into Sanshia and Kaya like that, whatever. But the point is they all get stronger when they go into their appropriate places. Ring of Terrasque, or Tarask as some people say. It's Terrasque, but that's okay.
Tarask.
It costs 700 gold. It's basically just trying to make sure you don't have to have a recipe in Heart. However, haha, there's still a recipe in Heart. So funny. It grants a lot of HP regen and health. It is a very strong item. This is a great.
It's a very strong mid-game item.
It goes into Heart and Holy Locket, which is the next item. Holy Locket. Passive. Causes all heals and HP regen you provide to be amplified by 25%. Here's looking at you, Necrophos. This is so strong on people like Necro because he just heals the whole game. He laughs. It's passive. It's not even active. It's just all the time. Just, here's all your health.
Also,
Dazzle.
Dazzle, yeah. Omni Knight.
It's not even that expensive. It's 26.50. Like Voidstone, the ring, a cloak. You know, it gives you all that stuff too. Mana regen, HP regen, health, and magic resistance plus that passive. This is an amazing
Also,
item.
anyone that goes mech, basically.
This wouldn't even be that bad on other heroes either.
And Earn, by the way. Those two items.
Earn too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Spirit Vessel, there you go.
Yeah, we don't care about Spirit Vessel. Solar Crest. It got reworked. It is actually
Sorry, before we go any further, I want to say IO buff. That's an IO buff.
Yeah, there is. That's true. That is a big IO buff. I didn't even think about that. That's huge.
Yeah, it's an
IO just fully heals your team. Oh my gosh, that actually might make IO. That actually might make IO viable. I didn't even consider that.
Viable and pubs. Rephrase that.
Yeah, sorry, out of pro games. So they reworked the recipe and bonuses of Solar Crest. It now does a couple different things. It gives some good move speed. It has more armor than it did before, I believe. Some nice stats on it. Now, instead of doing what it used to do, it gives a ton of attack speed to allies, movement speed to allies, and armor. Instead of what it used to do, which was armor and extra chance to hit, right? It was like evasion piercing. If I remember correctly. It was weird. On enemies, it applies negative 70 attack speed, negative 10 movement speed, and negative 12 armor. It is like really strong. That's like a really good item. You don't lose your move speed when you cast this either. You only lose the armor.
So it used to give you 3 true strike, I think. That's what it is last time. Not sure.
I love what's going on in the chat, by the way. This is great. I like that you're listening intently, Cooksy. I appreciate that. That's a good kitty. He used to give that's what I thought. A chance for True Strike, which is different. So it's no longer a counter like PA or anything, but that move speed is really strong. This is It's a slow item. Isn't that crazy? You ever think Solar Crest would slow people?
I mean, you know who it buffs? Dazzle.
Dazzle? Yeah, actually, you're so slow now. Crown. This is just a basic item. It's supposed to act as like a normal stat item instead of like things that used to go into Bracer, Wraithband, Null Talisman. It just adds plus 4 all stats for 450 gold. It goes into a lot of items. Ring of Aquila is dead. Goodbye, Ring of Aquila. I hated you, and I don't miss you.
I mean, to be fair, it's been bought on everyone. It's such a value item.
No, it's a good item. I hate it. I want it gone. I'm happy. No more invokers with Ring of Aquila.
It's just so good of an item.
They'll just buy Basilius now.
Bracer, Wraithband, and Null Talisman can no longer be upgraded to other items. And the reason why is because these are supposed to be efficiency items for the early game to make you survive the laning stage and potentially be stronger against ganks and being part of ganks. They were not intended to be built into bigger items before. They just were as you got more items like Veil and stuff. So this is a nerf because now you're sad to build them because they're never going to turn into anything. But conversely, they do give a little bit more of a stat for a tiny bit more money, which is sad. I probably wouldn't buy them on most heroes, but there's definitely a few exceptions where I can see this being a good pickup.
I mean,
for slot efficiency.
Why would you buy it? You can just buy Crown. Literally.
How much are 2 crowns? 900. I mean, it'd be cheaper to buy the.
I know,
but it's
why would you buy
1 crown instead? Would probably be okay.
Yeah,
Bracer does also give 6% magic resistance. This is a very strong part of Bracer. Now it becomes more viable as we see these different changes. Wraithband gives 8 attack speed, and Null Talisman gives 3 spell amps. So now you see why, right? They're a tiny bit more expensive and they don't build into anything, but they're much stronger by themselves. I would be okay buying Null Talisman on a lot of end heroes, like a Lina mid. Buy that Null Talisman, get that spell amp, just start unloading.
I would say now it's quite good. Wraith Band is kind of useless. Bracer is if you're losing lane, literally just get it.
They also changed the overall stats because they used to be was it 7-3-3?
7-3-3, yes.
Now it's
7-3-3,
8-3-3 in the extra things. That's nice.
Yeah.
Hurricane Pike now has a recipe, which I thought we were getting rid of recipes. Makes me sad. It is a recipe instead of Wraith Band.
They could have added Crown into it.
Dagon is actually more expensive now. No, sorry, it's cheaper. I lied. It's 15 gold cheaper. You're welcome, everybody. Instead of the Null Talisman I provided before, it added in a crown. And what else did it change?
I mean, the rest they all added crowns
That's it.
into
Yeah,
it.
that's all.
And then you go to Ring of Basilisk.
The stats changed too. It adds 2 extra strength now and 2 extra agility. So that's nice. That just means Dagon is actually a better item. Get some strength and agility out of it. Veil also changed to be cheaper. Thank you. Veil is a great item now. Because the crown changed.
One increase intelligence, that's it, in terms of the difference.
Yeah. Very little stat change, but it's much cheaper. Bracer is, if I remember correctly, it's cheaper as well. It also gives less strength, more agility, and more mana. Because the new mana regen.
Do you know what? This item actually has potential to become the next Ring of Aquila now.
Drum?
Yeah.
Drum's always been really strong, so I'm feeling
I know,
good.
but they nerfed it to the ground. Remember?
Rod of Atos. It got its price reduced as well. It's a very good item now. The only downside is its strength went down, which means it's less survivable. But the agility went way up. So
The agility doubled.
it's very nice to buy, give you a little armor, which is really nice because armor got buffed.
Move speed as well.
Ring of Basilius, we already saw this if you read it, but mana regen was increased, which is really nice for Ring of Basilius. I love this. Bloodstone, huge changes. No pocket deny. You cannot just kill yourself. I love it. I hated it. No longer reduces respawn times. That's sad. I liked that on Storm.
Okay,
Now
go on,
passively doubles your mana regen. That is so big. When you're Storm with 57 mana regen, pick up a Bloodstone. Try 114. It also starts with 12 charges, and before, losing a third of your charges felt really, really painful. Like, I earned myself up to 27 charges. Oh, say goodbye to about 10 of them. 9, actually. Now it just removes 3. Kills provide 1 like they used to. It's a much better way. So you get way ahead, you don't get punished for dying with a Bloodstone.
Hey, it doubles your mana regen, and then you jump into Slark, and Slark leashes you, and you're just dead.
Yeah. Each charge provides mana regen and health regen, so that's nice. It can now be cast, transferring 60% of your current mana to health. Cooldown's 250, and it happens over 2 seconds. That means I'm Storm. I have full mana. I get jumped. By Slark, actually. My health goes down. 80. 60%. 40%. I cast this. 20%.
Back to
40%. 50%. 20%. 50%. And leeches overrides it away.
Also, I would like to point out, I mean, you don't know this, but there was a pro game in the international like two internationals ago, and what happened, there was a core Lina with a Bloodstone, and there was I think a PL as the second core. PL, she casted everything, PL was about to die like on 200 health, and she pocket denied herself, literally, to save the PL.
I think I saw that game.
Yeah, that was just amazing. You can't make those plays anymore, so.
Yep, you can't do pocket denies to the other team. Aeon Disc. Health increased. Mana increased. No longer provides passive status resistance, but instead, when you activate it, it provides status resistance. This is a nerf to the status resistance aspect. You always want that passive. It's worse as inactive, but whatever, it's okay. The health and mana increase is pretty strong, which is really cool. Satanic now provides status resistance by itself. I don't know why. This is ridiculous. I'm going to pick this up all the time. That's so strong. Like, if I'm AM, right? I might have bought an AM, but there's a Spectre. I'm Spectre. I don't have any regen built into my character. I want to go toe-to-toe with somebody who's strong. Now I say, you know what? I don't like to be silenced or stunned. I'll just pick up a Satanic. Now, 30% of the silence and stuns are over faster, and I get crazy regen, because we talked about the regen buff from before. Bonus damage did go down, but that's fine. Makes it better on more people.
PA Troll. It works on anyone with attack speed that's squishy, so PA Troll. There you go.
Heart of Tarask now provides 50% health regen amplification. This means that it's better when you have a lot of regen earlier. The out-of-combat regen was reduced to account for the heal amp, which is fine. It balances out. The HP bonus was also reduced. This is not as obvious a choice over Scotty in all cases anymore because the health difference isn't as big. It now requires a Reaver, Vitality Booster, Ring of Tarask, and 400 gold recipe. That means that the cost stays the same if I'm correct. So it's nice. The 50% health regen amplification is really strong if you were like a Necro with a heart or something, because it would multiply your health when you heal. No, I guess it's only regen. If you had a talent, if you were Alk with it, because that's health. It comes as health regen when you ult. It would multiply that too, so you'd instantly full heal. So it could be abused, I'm sure, in some cases, but in general, it's just a different formula of getting there.
It's still a good item to do hit and run, basically.
Spirit Vessel's ruined. No longer amplifies health regen, so you can't use this to health bomb someone. And no longer provides current health percentage regen, so it doesn't heal as much just by itself. Enemy damage per second was increased. It matches Earn now. It still does deal current health as damage, so it's mostly an offensive item. You only buy Spirit Vessel if you're going to be offensive with it. It's not.
I mean, people were using it for offensiveness anyway, because they just put it on someone like Alchemist, and Alchemist cannot heal. Or
no, I know. I just meant even without the counter picks. Don't even buy the item if there's not someone that you're thinking of when you're going to use it.
Earn is good enough for that sense.
Earn is good enough. It. Yeah. Headdress recipe was reduced. This means that, of course, all items that just builds, pipe and mech, are cheaper. Mechanism did get its recipe increased, but not by enough. It's still cheaper than it was before. Buy mech supports. Arcane Boots got the mana they increase upped. I am so happy. Thank you. The heal for Guardian Greaves was upped by 25, and the mana was increased by 40, which is even more than the 25 that it got increased here. So Guardian Greaves are ridiculous now. They're cheaper because mech is cheaper. They're cheaper, more health, and more mana. It is ridiculous, and the aura they provide is in a larger radius. They went from 900 to 1200. Please buy Guardian Greaves. If you're thinking to yourself, I know that I bought mana boots, but I really don't want to up them to Greaves. You're wrong. Up them to Greaves. They are great. If you're Tidehunter, Greaves. The end. Sand King, Greaves. Unless you went Tranquil Sand King. Pipe of Insight now gives 2 stats from its components, which is really nice. It just is a better item. Basher's cheaper. Thank you. Butterfly lost its active. I'm okay with that. It's strong.
No,
but...
screw Basher being cheaper. We don't need that.
Crystallis bonus damage went up. That's really nice. Armor reduction Dessa went up, which means the negative armor thing we're talking about, more relevant. Force Staff can now override Slark's Pounce. I don't get this at all. It said no movement abilities would get you out of it, so I don't get why Force Staff would. I think that's really strange. Hand of Midas, attack speed was increased from 30 to 40. This makes it a much better farming item. We talked about farming items before. Everything's up in the air now because everything changed, but with the whole gold. But because you can now hit things faster and thus farm faster in the jungle, Hand of Midas is actually a better farming item. I would be more apt to pick this up on heroes. Sentry Ward range increase. Goodbye, Techies Green Mines. So I honestly think this buff is bigger. This nerf is bigger. I know it's a buff to sentries, but this nerf to Techies is bigger than the buff that Techies received. This makes Techies less viable, except as a counter to Invis heroes. By Techies as a counter to Invis heroes? Okay, I get it. Any other situation, he is worse than he's ever been before, because I can put a, like, instead of having 3 sentries for a lane because of like going down a lane going towards tower, I only probably need 2 now. So I actually have to spend less money to get to the next tower. In addition, I will note that even though Techies now counters Invis heroes, Sentry Wards also counter Invis heroes better than they did before, so you don't even need the counter pick on Techies. Just saying. When you drop a gem, you get 300 ground vision on the gem until it's picked up by the enemy team. It's just nice because if you lose your gem, and it's like hard to see if it's still there or not. If someone picked it up, it just shows you. It disappears. So I'd be like, oh, I see my gem in the river, even though none of us are there. And then suddenly it disappears. They picked it up. Morbid Mask no longer provides 10 damage. The cost was reduced by 200. I will take that exchange all day. Thank you. Mask of Madness damage was reduced by 10 to balance that out. It is a little bit worse for the fighting, but 200 gold cheaper. I will 100% take that all day. So we're getting into heroes. Dracus is messaging me. Since you're about to get to gem, this is like a permanent mobile sentry. It doesn't say... Oh! Okay, so Dracus pointed out that gem, when you drop it, it provides the true sight still. So you could use it as a permanent, like, mobile sentry. Like, you could put it down. Because you get the vision. I mean, in trees wouldn't work so much, Dracus, because of the fact that it's ground vision, but... Alright, that's fair. I can appreciate that. That could be some janky stuff you can do. Alright, I'm going to skip some of the stuff like base movement speed because it usually it's balanced by the fact that we got the movement speed change, so I'm going to skip stuff like that. Base agility increased by 6. His armor was reduced to account for that, so he just attacks faster. That's good. Mystical projectile speed was reduced. It doesn't happen so fast. You can actually dodge it. Curse of Avernus is entirely different. It's passive. When you hit the target, it slows them, as it did before. If you hit it 4 times, it becomes cursed for 4 seconds, and they're silenced. Dramatic. And they're slowed even more. And all allied heroes that attack them get a huge attack speed buff. So, this means that Abaddon has to keep hitting you. Before, it was smart for Abaddon just to hit somebody and move on. He has to actually keep hitting you, which means Abaddon needs this agility to actually hit people enough. So, Curse of Avernus isn't as dramatic the first time you get hit with it, because before people got the attack speed immediately. But it's much more dramatic when you get hit 4 times. So Abaddon's going to need to buy some, like, a Necro Saber or something, in my opinion. And then just unload on somebody, because that silence is dramatic.
Before we go on further, I'd like to point out that this patch has boosted Echo Saber up the roof, by the way.
Because a lot of heroes need it now.
No, because of the law of hero ability changes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because of their ability changes, Echo Saber is required. So, talent change, instead of Curse of Avernus, it's just an AoE Mist Coil, which is really cool for healing a team. I can see Abaddon being like a supporting Abaddon, just heal the whole team. Ice Vortex no longer has a self bonus. That means that he doesn't move faster on Ice Vortex, right?
Mm-hmm. I was about to say that you still go for the level 25 extra shield.
No, I would, yeah. I'm just saying you could see
that is still just too good. There's no way you're going for that.
Well, if you go for the new item, Holy Locket, and then AoE Mist Coil.
I mean, the shield's just too good, man. It's just way too good.
I can see that. I can see it.
Shield has a cool...
AoE Mist Coil with the Mist Coil buff that he gets at like 10 or whatever means that you could heal an entire team for like literally 600 health all at once. A 600
yeah, they have
AoE
to be
heal.
Standing next to each other, number one.
I know, but 600 AoE heal on a target on like a 6-second cooldown. That's pretty big.
I mean, the heal is only 200. It's only 250, by the way.
What happens when is there a talent for it?
There is a talent for it, but
how much
the heal goes up to 325. It's only increased by I think 75.
So it's a 325. Okay, 325 plus the 50% from Holy Locket. So we're talking about
25.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to remember, it has a 4.5 second cooldown.
I'm just saying, I can see this being a big strategy.
It can work, but I still prefer the shield over it because
probably
shield is damage
you only have one big core mostly. But if you had a team,
it's a damage block and an
AoE
damage.
I think you're gonna see pros using the Mist Coil instead because they have different strats.
No, I don't think so.
We're gonna see.
We'll see that because Abaddon
Chilling Touch is entirely different now. It's a passive autocast attack modifier, like Jakiro. It has a cooldown. It grants you bonus attack range and causes your attack to deal heavy magic damage that slows them for a brief period. The damage
basically for lane.
It's for laning, so you can just harass people out. I don't want to be in a lane against AA because this hurts a lot.
I would just max that skill now. I will not max anything else.
Yeah, I would too, because you used to be able to use Ice Vortex to chase people or to
basically,
get away.
No, it wasn't that. Before it was Ice Vortex 1 level, Chilling Touch value 1 level, and after that max Cold Feet. Because Cold Feet, even though you don't latch on them, does damage.
Oh, I like Cold Feet.
It does damage.
Alright, Anti-Mage. I love this change because I think it removes some of the jank. It removes some of the jank while giving you more to do. So, remove Scepter upgrade altogether. You do not buy Ags as an Anti-Mage anymore. Thank you. Saving me a spell an item slot. 4,200 gold.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Spell Shield is now called Counterspell. It gives you less magic resistance than it ever did before because it used to be 20, 30, 40, 50. So I lost 5% magic resistance at all levels, which is good. That's a good change. I think it's needed. And it can be activated to provide a Counterspell Shield for 1.4 seconds. This causes all spells, just like an Ags, to be blocked and reflected onto the enemies. The cooldown is 15, 11, 7, 3. Mana cost is 40. So the good and the bad. The good, as in not being anti-mage, but against anti-mage. The good, silence, can't use it. Which means that unlike before, where you'd have to blow an ability just to get in, just throw a silence. Literally just blink in and orc at him. If he has Manta, that's a whole different story, but before, you would have to blow something, blow his shields.
What do you mean if he has Manta? Anti-Mage is going to have Manta.
I know. But I'm just saying before, it was, okay, break the shield, you throw an ability. His Ags pops.
I like to point out now
throw a silence, Manta pops, and then throw something.
I like to point out now the difference between Scepter and the current skill now for Spell Shield is that basically it's down to the player itself, basically, and it's not.
Yeah, it's not as easy mode. So the cooldown
it's not auto. It's not auto free win.
It's not auto, right? So you can jump me as anti-mage now. Okay, if I'm not ready, I can't use it. So if you're in or something, there's nothing I can do.
Right,
now the bad is the 3 seconds. It lasts 1.4 seconds. Its downtime is 1.6. It is almost a 50% uptime, which means ridiculous. I don't understand that at all.
Can I just ask a question here?
Sure.
If I'm reading this correctly, it's for the 1.4 seconds it's active, every single spell that targets him is reflected, correct?
Single target.
Yes, single target.
spell.
They have to be single target.
That's bullshit.
Why?
Because that is sure you lose the
Okay.
the ability to use it while
There's
you're
a
silent.
couple of things can beat it though. To be fair.
But I'm just saying for the 50% uptime that it has, it reflects every single spell. It's not like you activate it and it breaks by the first one hit.
Void's a counter now too. He waits till you pop it and then he uses time dilation. Didn't used to work because Ags was an item, but now that it's an active ability. Anything that elongates cooldowns like Void, as soon as you cast this, he just uses time dilation and now you can't use it again because it's an AoE, so it doesn't even pop.
As I say, it's always down to the player itself, literally. Because now insta blink hex is a good thing. Because used to be you blink, you can't hex him because you get hexed yourself.
Oh yeah, plus this too. Anti-Mage is also in a rough spot because the change to pounce leashes. Leashes hurt him because he can't blink away. It's okay. Like it's not a huge. I'm not gonna pretend it's gonna be that makes this all fair, but I think the 3-second cooldown nemes to be changed. They need to up this cooldown.
And also,
Yes,
I don't
they
think
do.
if the touch is like queued up his spells, I think you can't press the shield before he dismembers you.
Because remember, this is changing out 4,200 gold that you don't have to spend now if you wanted this item. Now I don't even have to choose. I often don't even buy Ags, so this is just a buff for me. I mean, I lose the 5% spell magic resistance. But I wouldn't have bought Ags most of the time anyway, so this is free. This is a free item that I wasn't going to do anyway. So if your team doesn't have a lot of lockdown, I get this anyway. Before I wouldn't have bought an Ags. It's like, okay, you have a Lion, that's it though. Not a lot of hard CC. I guess I wouldn't buy an Ags. Now I just get it anyway. When I go into a team fight, I pop it and jump on Lion, and I laugh. Because he throws Hex, ha, you're hexed, I'm not. So that's really strong.
There's a few things, basically.
Alright, we have to go fast though. Tempest Double, bounty was increased, depending what level it's at. That's huge. That's a really big nerf.
Again, that's because of the pro games, because last it was I had an 80% win rate.
Strong.
80% win rate in pro games.
His talent went down, so he's not as tanky when he takes it. Axe armor went down on Berserker's Call. That's to balance with the armor change.
Not only that, because you picked a lot for a support position 5 axe, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that the armor did change, so armor matters more at high levels. So he actually has a similar armor value now. And Feeble is different now. The debuff applies negative status resistance, which means that stuff lasts longer on the enemy. So I cast it on you and then silence you. It lasts longer. And reduce the enemy attack speed instead of damage. So now you'll never have 0 damage from Enfeeble, but you'll be like attacking Enchantresses. It's like
I like to point out something though. Someone already found the broken way of this skill. You max enfeeble someone and you max grip them. It's a full 20-second disable. 20 seconds.
Yeah, I believe it.
I linked it in the Discord somewhere. Yeah.
And this is really strong. This negative status resistance. It can be dispelled though, so if somebody purges you, the negative status resistance will end.
I'll get it.
The talent was changed from Enfeeble Steals damage to Enfeeble Steals attack speed, just to balance it out to what it actually does now. And instead of Enfeeble damage reduction, it's an Enfeeble attack speed reduction.
I don't want to.
So Bane attacks like crazy. You could actually totally go right click Bane now. Flaming Lasso now deals damage, so you don't need an Axe for it. The Axe still does its normal ability, but the point is that it should just do damage. It's stupid that it didn't. Beastmaster no longer summons a neutral creep. He now has 2 separate keys like he used to for Boar and Hawk. The Hawk is a global point target. It sends the Hawk there instead of controlling it.
Less micro-intensive,
so it's less micro-intensive to be Beastmaster.
I like this person.
I think it's better. It's easier for me to play Beastmaster now, to be honest.
I mean, it's a dumbed down skill now.
It's a nerf though, because now that you can't move it, that's really weird.
Yeah.
You can't use
it. Because before you can have one Hawk and you can scout like half the map.
You can't use neutral creeps for their abilities anymore, so it's definitely a nerf. They did, however, change some of the damage. Like the boar does more damage now. The boar does less damage against creeps, but more damage against heroes. The boar has more health now, so the boar is really a lot stronger. It's just that unfortunately you don't get a creep to go with it, so it's probably not really good. Primal Roar self movement speed was increased, so you get to move faster. Primal Roar secondary unit push was more.
I like to point out they didn't
longer.
It could be just 30 movement speed or 40% increased movement speed. So
the slow is just better in all regards. Actually, the slow is just great. And the talent was changed from 2 Hawks to 15-second cooldown, which is nice. That's a better talent. Considering that they got.
That's because you don't need to control the Hawks anymore.
So my least favorite hero is coming up after Bloodseeker. I think this change is egregious and it's making me really angry. Just throwing that out there. Thirst.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Next. Thirst.
Fun
That's my
one.
instant ban. I promise you right now, Falcon. Every single game I'm banning it.
Wow,
I've changed it.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
play
care
it.
about Kunkka anymore. Thirst changed from
It's
giving
such a fun
attack
hero, man.
damage to attack speed. They did a lot of this. There's not as much damage around as attack speed. Movement speed was also increased. Blood Rage incoming outgoing damage was reduced, so it's not as strong. Thank you. It now does full amp regardless of distance, which means that you can actually do Zeus combos more. Blood Rage damage was increased slightly. Rupture now deals 8% of current health as pure damage per 100 units moved instead of what it used to do. It's no longer lethal. I got Rupture.
Run for your life.
I got Rupture. Blink
so,
Force Staff.
This makes me so happy. This makes me so happy.
Yep, just Blink Force Staff. I'm not gonna die.
Although you can blink Force Staff or anything, you're giving him extra attack speed and move speed. And remember, his move speed has increased dramatically.
Yeah, his TP
also,
though.
Blink Force Staff. Remember what I told you about max attack speed before? This is one of the heroes that benefits from it.
Yep.
Yep.
Rupture duration from 12 to 8, 10, 12, so it's got nerfed. Rupture cast range was also reduced at earlier levels. It's a little bit better at the last level. Cooldown was also... It's actually nerfed at the first level of it, but it's better as it goes. His talent, instead of extra Rupture damage, is extra cast range. That's sad. I would rather the damage, to be honest with you. So this change in general...
No, they have to balance it. Because
this makes Bloodseeker a better right clicker, because the attack speed is better, and Thirst is better.
Also, it stops him from being a lane bully, because before I used to give attack damage, you're going to get denies, you want that creep, deny you again.
Now here it comes, guys. I don't want anybody to stop me mid until I'm done. I just gotta go.
Alright, go.
I'm gonna go slow so you guys can't even see what the spoiler is. Strength gain was increased from 18.21 to whatever. 18.21 to 20.25. He has more strength. Shadow Walk no longer deals damage. Attacking out of invisibility now applies a movement slow. Here it comes. I have to prepare myself. Reworked Janata. Passive cooldown like it was before. Causes your attacks to deal extra damage, which is nice. And steals gold.
Yep.
It steals gold. It doesn't destroy gold. It steals it. He gets it.
Unreliable, by the way.
I know, but still. Your weapon glows when the attack is ready to strike to let you know. I like the glowing, by the way. So this means that here's what I would do if I was Bounty Hunter. I'm going to go to Safe Lane. Let's just say that it's a Sven Lion. I'm going to wait Invis until my Invis is ready to cast again, because you can do that. I'm going to hit Lion with Janata and steal his money and immediately re-Invis. I'm going to repeat this process so that Lion can never afford sentry wards. Ever. Lion won't be able to buy sentries for me because he's broke. And I'm going to do it the entire game so that I have all the money in the world and Lion has nothing. He can't buy anything. And when we get into the mid-game, I'm going to do it to the carry. I know I can't kill him. That's okay. I'm going to walk up to Anti-Mates in the jungle. Hit. Goodbye. Anti-Mate's not going to kill you until he has like a basher or something, so you just walk away. Goodbye. And Anti-Mate's lost some money. It is ridiculous. Track movement speed bonus is now given to your hero only, so that's a nerf to track. It now causes all attacks you do to the tracked enemy to crit automatically. That's really strong. Right-click bounty is back in the meta, in my opinion. Track also doesn't break invisibility, so you don't have to cast it and re-invis. That's really strong.
Can I point out that, the gold steal bit, it's not going to hurt too much in lane for the Lion, because you gain back the gold in the 12 seconds.
What do you mean, because of the denies?
Yeah, denies as well as the gold steal is only.
Yeah, but the cooldown is too low.
Yeah, I mean the cooldown will go down, but it's not gonna hurt too much. And on carries in the mid game, 30 gold, man. Come on, you get.
I'm trying to finish my 7 by the way. That's my goal, guys, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, go for it.
So track goal race was also increased. This is just nice quality of life. His talent was changed from Janata crit to Janata gold steal. That's obnoxious, but it's only at level 20. So at that point, I'm not going to pretend that it matters that much. Brewmaster. 120
gold. 120 gold.
I know.
I mean, that if he's just derping in and right-clicking you for 120 gold every 3 seconds, that's a lot if you don't kill him. It's not a lot from you, but it's a lot for him.
That's true. Ink gain increased on Brew. Thank you for that. He needed it. Base movement speed increased. Thunderclap mana cost was increased at late levels. That's okay. Rework Drunken Brawler. It's now a self-active buff. It lasts for 5 seconds. It grants you evasion and chance to crit, which is really nice instead of being random. It's still random, but it's more.
By the way, it's an Echo Saber buff as well. This item.
That's
skill.
fair. Movement speed alternates between -20% to +40%, so it kind of like goes like really slow, then really fast. The cooldown is relatively reasonable. The mana cost is relatively low. It's a good way just to go crazy real quick. This is a really cool ability.
This is
I think
probably this makes Brew like the unbeatable 1v1 now, literally in the mid game.
It's pretty strong, yeah.
It's unbeatable. PA cannot contest that. PA absolutely cannot contest that as well.
Replace Drunken Haze with Cinder Brew. Covers a target AoE with alcohol, slowing them by 25%. So does it hit a target or an AoE?
AoE target. Anyone that hits in the AoE, it's an AoE spell.
Slows them by 25% and causes them to have a chance to attack themselves instead of the target, which is ridiculous on someone like PA. Last 7 seconds, the target's hit by fire. The duration will refresh and they'll ignite and burn for a little bit of damage. Self-attack can't be lethal. It's like really strong. This is like a really good ability.
I don't like it. I don't like half of it though.
That sounds like fun to use on PL or Chaos Knight Illusion Swarm.
We'll get to the Chaos Knight bit because I'm sad.
So these heroes count as having fire. I don't care about it. 50% Drunken Brawlers instead 200% critical strike damage. That's really strong. Viscous Nasal Goo was buffed again.
Oh
like
my
the 13th
god,
time.
that is just so strong, literally.
Nasal Goo?
No, the 200 critical strike damage.
Oh, it is really strong. But this just keeps getting buffed because I think they're really Bristleback just needs a little love. Spiraling Spiderite Magic Resistance went down again, so you can just get rid of him. Thank you. Centaur, I will not play him anymore. Honestly. Strength gain was reduced from 4.3 to 4. Hoofstuck damage was reduced as well at all levels, pretty dramatically at the late levels. Double Edge was changed to be less damage by itself at the late levels, but it adds in strength, so it'll do more damage. Double Edge cast point was also is improved, so we cast it faster. Return has been renamed to Retaliate. Retaliate no longer has a strength component at all, so it just does this damage. And the damage was increased, but like honestly, that means late game Return, Retaliate, is not as strong at all.
Good.
Retaliate now gains charges each time you're attacked by an enemy hero or tower. It can be activated, consuming the charges to give you a percentage-based attack damage increase for 20 seconds. But like, when does Centaur attack?
I mean,
max attacks are 10, so don't get me wrong. I appreciate that.
I prefer this though because for the fact you can just buy a heart and stand in front of a tower, and the tower kills itself.
Oh,
I get it.
Oh no! It means you actually have to right-click the tower instead of letting the tower
it is much better.
It provides a lot of damage if you do get enough stacks.
I prefer this than rather the tower committing suicide on the center.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Stampede cooldown was increased, which is fair. It's really strong. Mana cost was increased. Talent was changed from magic resistance to move speed. I actually do like that instead. Return strength damage is double-edged strength damage. 75 damage to 30 base damage because it can be multiplied by Retaliate. And double-edged damage was moved to Retaliate damage. I don't know. He's okay. He's not a bad hero. I'm not pretending he's not playable. But he's just not the same hero that I would want to play. I'd rather play somebody else at this point.
Now, the next one I'm very sad. This one I'm really sad about.
I'm sad about part, but I'm happy about the other. Rework Chaos Strike. Passive cooldown ability. Lands a critical strike for a random amount between 120 and 250.
This is nice. It's consistent.
Lifesteal. It's just nice because it happens automatically.
It's consistent, basically.
It's consistent.
Yes.
Reality Rift no longer reduces armor at all. It now moves the target a fixed amount, so it's not like random where they appear. And it maims the target, which is really big. I like this.
Okay, I don't like it for the fact that because you have now a consistent strike, it applies to all illusions as well. So potentially one-shotting a target in the mid-game is no longer viable, so you can't not do it now, literally. It's really hard.
Do your illusions get this ability, this new one?
They get the Chaos Strike. They all have the cooldown.
Because you'd all instantly hit them.
Yeah, but you all instantly hit them. But at the mid-game, your damage is not massive, basically. And
late game, it's buff, though. You'd instantly kill
I know.
I get it.
But potentially, you can all your illusions crit for 120% damage. And if you read further down, you understand why.
Chaos Knight might be the strongest late game carry now, minus the weakness to the ult. Rally Rift cast range was reduced at early levels. Chaos Bolt minimum damage was also reduced. Maximum damage was
I'm not sad about that. I'm not
Projectile speed was reduced, so it's easier to dodge.
I don't mind about that. That's fine.
Chaos Bolt was just nerfed. Phantasm no longer has a chance to summon extra illusion. Instead, it just gives you the regular one. Instead of 1, 2, or 3, it's 3 at all levels. This is nice for your first 2 levels of Phantasm, but not the third. Illusion damage was rescaled. They do not do full damage early. That's fine.
Now,
Illusion...
that's why. That's why.
Yeah, you're not gonna, I get it.
So
illusion duration was reduced. This is really sad. This is a huge nerf. It's
I don't
really
mind
hard.
because basically what it means, use it for team fight. You either use it to push and not for farm creeps. That's what you do, basically.
Yeah.
I don't mind that change. The thing is that change for the 3 illusions with the damage reduction makes me sad because of the critical chaos strike reduction.
I wouldn't even get all to level 11 or 12 at this point. Honestly.
So no, I would still get the one.
I don't know. I have to play him. I'm not sure.
No, because 40% damage.
Because the reality rift to chaos strike cooldown, we had a rush. Chen, penitence projectile speed was decreased. No longer amps damage. Instead, anybody who attacks it gets attack speed. That's really nice.
By the way, Team Rocket says hi.
Who? Hey, Team Rocket blasting off again. What's up? You can't see the chat very well because the whole overlay, but we'll fix it. Divine Favor. Target's allied unit gives them HP regen, amplifies all regen and heals on the target, and increased attack damage. That's a huge buff. That's a big buff. I love this. I love this a lot. It's way better than Test of Faith ever was. That's huge. It's not a damage ability anymore. That's the only downside. Holy Persuasion now has a neutral creep level requirement. Holy Persuasion minimum health increase was just normalized. Now it sends an allied unit to you, just like Caudle used to be. He actually took Caudle's ability. That's literally what it is. It'll say that later, but he took Caudle's ability. It's now his.
Basically, you can no longer send people back, basically.
Yeah. Holy Persuasion cooldown was changed to 15 at all levels. It literally says this used to be recalling Keeper Light, who no longer has it. Test of Faith was changed to Divine Favor just because that's what it is. Clinks. This is arguably better in some cases, but probably worse in pro games. Clinks used to survive because he had good survivability on Death Pact, but now he doesn't have it. He has Burning Army. Use a vector target, you spawn skeletons along the line, and they shoot using your damage, searing arrows. They can take a couple hits and they'll die if they take too many. They only attack heroes. It's like a WD ward, but it's killable. It matches your attack range. They spawn over an interval. It's a nice ability to do damage, but unfortunately, not having tankiness could really hurt Clinks.
It actually is worse though overall.
Overall,
it's cooldown
worse.
Its cooldown is long as well.
It's 110 second cooldown. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
Rocket Flare projectile speed was increased. That's really nice for Clock. He can hit you really fast now. Cogs just got buffed in all regards. The distance they knock you back, the duration, the damage, the mana burn, they're just really ridiculous.
I mean, considering they get killed by 2 hits, of course.
And they're so strong. Base damage CM was increased. I love CM. Frostbite no longer is an interrupt because they changed that to all routes. Frostbite cast range was increased though, and Freezing Field no longer is a cast point, so it just happens.
Nice.
I'm happy. Darkseer, they just changed Surge so that it has static duration. Its cooldown is basically higher. The target's unslowable, but it doesn't give you max move speed. It gives you a percentage. It now causes the target to ignore movement speed limit, so you can go faster than max move speed, and you can phase with it. Wall Replica now uses vector targeting to cast. So instead of a spot, you like aim it. The cast point was reduced, which is nice. It makes a combo faster. Cast range was increased to its maximum. It now slows heroes continuously while you touch it, instead of being a debuff that lingers. Instead of being the thing it used to be, like it was a slow at one point. Now it's a huge thing that lasts, and the debuff lingers when you leave. And the slow is always higher. Dazzle. Poison Touch mana cost was increased. Poison Touch debuff now stacks, which is ridiculous. Replace Weave with Bad Juju. Passive. You just get cooldown reduction. And anytime you cast a spell, all enemies within the 1200 AoE lose armor for 10 seconds. So they're still going to lose armor because you're just going to cast all the time. Debuff stack and refresh duration. So that means if I cast a lot, your armor doesn't come back. It just keeps going down forever. Say hello to negative armor.
By the way, your freaking Poison Touch cooldown drops to like maybe 10 seconds, and your Shadow Wave drops to like 4 seconds. So that's how strong that is.
Yeah, it's really strong. Shadow Wave cooldown was increased to make this fair. Talent, now Bad Juju armor reduction. Instead of Shadow Wave cooldown, it's Poison Touch slow, which is ridiculous. You're so slow. Movement speed on Death Prophet, who cares? Spirit Siphon now drains speed. And since it says drains, that means she gets it. So instead of slowing you, she gets speed too. Although it's a little bit less on the speed that it's draining. So she doesn't make you as slow, but she gets much faster. So you're never getting away.
I mean, it's slightly better. Basically, you can't be like Visage and steal speed and all that kind of stuff. Or like, you know.
Thunderstrike buff, who cares? Doom, big changes. Base attack range was increased. This is rare. He is higher than the normal melee range. Devour no longer has restriction on consuming while another unit's being consumed before you have to wait. I think that's way better. Devour now gives you HP regen while you're consuming a creep. It takes 80 seconds to consume all creeps. It can now be toggled off or on so you don't steal the abilities you don't want. Like, I want the Alpha Wolf buff. I want to eat this creep that has an ability. Just turn it off and then devour them. Nice quality of life. Scorched Earth no longer heals. Scorched Earth cooldown was reduced. Scorched Earth damage was increased. I still think Scorched Earth is now one of the worst abilities in the game, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's swapped now, so the heal from Scorched Earth goes to Devour.
That's what I mean.
So
That's why it's one of the worst abilities in the game by itself. It's kind of crap.
I find that in the team fight, I don't know when you got the time to
They
Devour.
changed the talent to make sense. Elder Dragon Splash Attack now does more damage in the AoE instead of having a scaling amount. It no longer does partial damage if the attack misses either. Drow.
You know
Precision Ore is super weird now. It provides attack speed instead of damage, which is strange.
One of the heroes that can break maximum attack speed.
Rather than damage, it's even more percentage too. Rework marksmanship. I like this. Instead of just giving you agility, it provides you a chance to land a piercing attack that cannot be evaded and strikes through the enemy's defenses, ignoring their armor entirely. Instantly kills creeps. Gets disabled if someone's near you, just like before. This is so strong. This means Drow, when she gets ult, just starts farming like a mad woman.
Yeah, but the thing is,
if she hits a carry like Dragon Knight, disaster.
She's a lot worse though, because if you get gap closing hero, she's done.
She's always been like that though. She always lost her
I know,
agility.
but before she could technically still have items to right click, and now she can't, literally.
Sure she can. Why not? There's literally the same ability. It still gets canceled if you're next to her. So
yeah, but you got no pierce. Absolutely no pierce.
So you mean you wouldn't buy the MKB?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine. I think this is a good change. I think Drow's gonna be strong. The farming speed.
I don't think so. I think
it's the farming speed. She's gonna get so much money, dude. She has a 40% chance at 18 to instantly kill any creep.
Considering she gets less armor, less movement speed, nah, I think she's worse.
I don't know, man. The armor does hurt, but she gets more attack speed than she ever has before because of a precision aura. So she won't even lose the attack speed part, just the armor.
Yeah, based on her agility though. So
20 marksmanship agility changed to evasion, which is cool. 20% precision aura damage was precision aura attack speed. Fissure cooldown went up. Thank you. I hate Earthshaker.
why?
Earth Spirit's I don't know. He's just really strong.
Only went up in early levels, by the way. Same at the 4th level.
Earth Spirit strength gain went up. Rolling Boulder now is the slow. Oh, sorry, it's not a slow, it's a stun now. So they basically changed Rolling Boulder is now a stun, and Boulder Smash is now a slow. In addition to that, the stun's actually better now, because now when you're rolling Boulder through a boulder, the stun's longer. It's actually really crazy, a 2-second stun. Especially when you put that with ult, because it transfers to everybody. Boulder Smash does more damage now, which is nice. Stone Remnants, one more, thank you. Magnetized AoE was increased, quality of life, very strong. Just little things there. Elder Titan, basically the Astral Spirit's better worse in most ways. Damage was reduced. Return speed was increased, which is nice, but that's not really a thing. The damage, that's buff. I guess it's buff and nerf. The attack damage per hero is increased. It now provides armor per hero hit and creep. That's really nice. Movement speed was increased. Movement speed cap is increased. And bonus duration is also increased.
It's to stop people from stacking camps, and then they steal damage and one-shot people in lane, basically.
Talent changed from 100% lifesteal to Astral Spirit grants spell immunity. That's really strong. That's a really strong talent. Nobody cared about the lifesteal as much. Astral Spirit grants spell immunity for 10 seconds. What is that?
So basically, how long does the thing last? Astral Spirit?
The buff. It's all about the bonus. So the Astral Spirit grants spell immunity means when it gets back to you. So now the bonus duration
how long
is up
does
to
the
10.
buff last?
10.
It's a BKB. There you go.
It's a BKB. Fire Remnant now does damage along the way. It can only hit you once no matter what, but just in case you're passing by somebody, you'll do some damage.
9, by the way. It's 9 seconds, by the way. So
no, duration increased from 9 to 10.
Sorry, 9 seconds for the Elder Titan. Sorry.
No, it said increased from 9 to 10.
I didn't see that. Sorry.
Name is slower. Time lock is weird now. It causes Faceless Void to land a free second attack while the target's locked in place, and it deals bonus damage for that. And the bash duration is less. So
by the way, the bash can do time locks as well, by the way. So you can have infinite time locks if you're lucky.
Interesting. I don't think Echo Saber is really a thing on Faceless Void anymore. I think Mask of Madness is. For sure. Like, just
So-
attack so fast that you get tons of procs really quick, because that double
So
isn't
you
gonna
build
be as much.
Faceless Void like a Pangolier now, basically. So you buy a Javelin and you get all the procs from all the time locks.
Went from 100 time lock damage to 70. Grimstrokes in Captain's mode, cool. Soulbind now applies a leech state, we already knew that. Soulbind got duration reduced, thank God. Fan's Brace now gets closer to the target before latching on, so it takes longer for it to get to you. Ink
So
Swell,
basically, you don't
now-
get silenced.
Ink Swell is better now. It, like, as in, I just like the ability more. It does its maximum impact based on the duration it hit any hero, rather than the amount of DPS dealt to all heroes combined. So it used to be how much damage did it do to all heroes. Then it calculates the percentage and decides what's going to happen. Now it's what's the maximum, what's the duration to hit any hero that it hit during that duration. And the highest one, it's going to deal the damage based off, which is nice. It's just a better way to do the calculation. Max stun was reduced at high levels, at most levels actually. And the Phantom can't be as strong at level 20. Berserker's Blood doesn't give magic resistance, it now gives health. Which is nice. It now rents up faster when lower health. Replace Inner Vitality with Inner Fire. In a fire range, you knock everybody away, dealing damage and disarming them, which is crazy.
So
It's
mini
ridiculous.
Deafening Blast.
Yeah,
There you go.
enemies are knocked back for a little bit. Cooldown is not that bad. He just got changed to buff a lot of his talents too. That's just really strong. That's a really good
That's a
ability.
really strong spell. You probably max that second now.
Spear cooldown for Io was increased at later levels. Macropyre now lingers on the effect unit for 2 seconds. That's really strong. That makes your cure result way better. I'm trying to rush as best as I can here. Jug. The Jode increased by 10, but the base damage unchanged. That means higher attack speed and armor. That's really strong. Omni Slash is now better and worse. It doesn't just strike you for the set amount of damage and you attack in between. That was a stupid mechanic that made no sense. Now, Omni Slash is duration based. It lasts a certain amount of seconds, and throughout those seconds, he'll hit the crap out of you. Based on his attack speed. And that's it. And it can crit and proc items and everything. Like Basher, Diffusal Blade, all that. So there's no, like, get my attack speed high enough that I hit in between procs. It's just do Omni Slash for up to 3.5 seconds at 1.8 times your attack rate. So you attack faster. So you just go do and start procking bashes and Diffusal Blade like crazy. This could be better with a lot of proc chance abilities. It also provides extra damage, I guess. You're probably going to do more damage in general, but it's less janky. The Scepter makes it also last longer. It no longer constantly issues self-interrupts during each attack. It no longer instantly kills creeps, which is one of the weaknesses. And instead of 5 Omni Slash strikes, it's 1 second of Omni Slash. It also means Jug won't be in Omni Slash as long, because before he'd literally be in it for like 8 seconds. Honestly.
I mean, you can crit the creeps and the creeps will die, and then
No, of
that
course,
doesn't
of course.
matter.
Coddle. Probably the biggest change in the entire hero lineup. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
Mana Leak, gone. Spirit Form, gone. Illuminate, who cares? Just a small nerf. Chakra Magic is different. Now it restores a ton of mana and removes seconds off of all basic abilities on the target. So I'm a lion. I cast Mana Drain, I cast Earth Spike, I cast Hex. Coddle casts Chakra Magic. They all get 6 seconds off of their cooldown. It's really nice. The cooldown's reasonable. It no longer works like a Soul Ring, I guess. Blinding Light is now a basic ability. You don't need ult for it because the ult doesn't exist. It causes everyone to be blinded, missing 70% of their attacks. And it deals damage, which is crazy. I tried it. It's really
200.
good.
200 damage.
Yeah, it's really good, actually. It's nice to let him have this early game, too. It means he actually could be a lane support now. Because now he can do better at making the carry have kill potential. And Blinding Light does a lot of damage, and he has it before 6.
Now
ultimate.
Dragons can knock them away from you and steal the kills.
There you go.
New ultimate, Will-o-the-Wisp. So it's an attackable light entity. The light flickers on for 1.3 seconds, then off for 1.75. Enemies within the radius are hypnotized, forced to look, and they're actually moved towards it. We don't know if it's a bug or not, but you actually do get moved towards it without being able to act.
It's still annoying. It's one
It's
of the best
really
skills to
annoying. The light
It
can
was
be
one of the-
killed with 4, 5, 6 attacks. Otherwise, it will flicker 3, 4, or 5 times before going away. The cooldown
You
is quite
say it's
long.
easy to kill 4, 5, 6 attacks.
It's
Blinding
not.
Light.
No, it's not.
Put blinding light into it, and you can't
It's
attack it
impossible.
at
You
all.
cannot kill it. You need to be like a something crazy attack speed, like Ursa, to get this.
Also, sniper. You need to be a sniper.
It's
hitting it.
dormant
And
for 1
if you-
second before it first flicker begins, so you get a warning. Scepter now causes Illuminate to heal during the day. You don't get the seeing over trees during the day anymore. That means Ags is basically useless. I would say this is a contender for the worst Ags in the game now. Instead of Mana Leak Stun, it's 2 Will-o-the-Wisp flickers, which are super strong, actually. So Coddle is now a team fight hero. He's no longer a split pusher. He can still split push with Illuminate in a pinch, but he's much better at just beating with the team. He blinding lights and does damage. His illuminate's still there, although you can't channel it because you don't have the ult anymore. You can't channel it and walk away. You have to stay there. You put your Will-O-Wisp there. It distracts people. They get all kinds of messed up. It's actually like really strong. Winning a duel automatically casts press the attack on you. That's super strong for Legion.
Really good, by the way, because if you get hexed but your team kills your target for you, you're no longer hexed. There you go.
That's thinking. Lich has a crazy ability now. Intelligence was increased, both the base and the gain. Frost Nova mana cost was reduced. I don't get that at all. And play Sacrifice with Sinister Gaze. That's why. I get it now.
That's because you're no longer anti.
Yeah, you
you're no longer anti what you call anti-fun. You literally can do something in lane instead of just
that too. Yeah, now Lich can't ruin the XP balance with Sacrifice. So this actually might be worse, I suppose, but it's really strong.
No, it's still good. You can set up
it's
stuff.
still good. I just mean it's different because now you can't just win your lane by getting an XP advantage.
I mean,
which is good. That's stupid.
Channel single target. Cause the enemy to slowly walk towards you. It moves up to a point 50% between you, for example. Lasts up to 2.5 seconds. Cast range is okay.
Mind you, can go over cliffs. It does work over cliffs as
Interesting.
well.
Cooldown's 30 seconds. Here's my example. They're pushing into our tower. What do, Sven? Like, just cast your dang Sinister Gaze. I cast it. Now their enemy just slowly walks inside tower range, and he doesn't stop walking. He just stays there for the entirety of 2.5 seconds. And as soon as that's over, I immediately hit him with Q. He's slowed. It's an easy way to get people on the tower.
The skill after that helps as well, just so you know.
Ice Armor with Frost Shield. Target self or an ally and applies a Frost Shield. Reduces physical attack damage taken by a percentage, which is way better than armor. For 6 seconds. Every second, all enemies within 600 AoE will take damage and be slowed for 35%, like a Radiance almost. So it's like a mini Radiance aura, and it gives you percentage of damage reduction. Cooldown's actually really low too. So actually, Lich is really good at survivability now. No gold talent anymore. It's extra Frost Shield, less cast range, and Ice Armor provides 30 HP regen. To Frost Shield provides 60. And I don't think you can cast Frost Shield on towers. Nope, you can't.
Yes, you can.
You can.
It says target self for an ally.
60 HP regen on towers.
It
By
says
the way,
self for ally.
it only.
Did you try it?
No, it says can target towers. Did you read the last line in Frost Shield?
Oh no! Ah!
But it only lasts 6 seconds, by the way. Only 6 seconds. So
okay, we'll get the talent 25. Sorry, at 20 plus 2, so it lasts 8 seconds on a 15-second cooldown.
Yeah, so basically,
it reduces physical attack damage taken, dude. 60% damage reduction on the tower. What?
Yep.
Oh,
you're
It's Treant Protector 2.0. Treant Protector on steroids. There you go. Also, the combo is Frost Shield yourself, Sinister Gaze someone, and the Sinister Gaze character.
I know, Thor. I didn't call Lich Sven. Never mind. I'm not gonna go through it again. I don't have the chat open because you can see as you're watching the thing here. It's hard for me to have it both open at the same time. Yeah, I know. Caudle literally. I know I'm a little late on this. Caudle literally doesn't need Scepter at all anymore. It's crazy.
I mean, 4 stuff. You need 4 stuff now because 4 stuff
you
is
do.
so good.
It's not true. That feast changed. It's a little bit less percentage,
better.
but for max health, very strong. That's really big. This is way better for jungling and stuff.
No, not only that, you harass strength heroes to hell.
Yes, by Pudge. They changed the talent to be appropriate. Mana drain slow is increased. Finger of Death now gets stronger with each kill. It gains 50 damage per hero kill. If the enemy dies in 3 seconds, it still counts. So I tested this in a lobby, like a quick lobby, just to see if it how much it actually mattered. It matters a lot. By Kaya, and that 50 is then multiplied again by your spell land.
See the big thing there is if the enemy dies within 3 seconds of being hit, because that
you don't have to get the kill. You do not get to get the kill.
That allows you to stack it so much.
If you get Aghanim Scepter, that's even better. Get a team fight and just zap everyone.
You hit everybody, you get all the bonus damage from it, and then now I hit them all again.
Mid-line is actually viable now, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, all right. Yeah, I can.
Lone Druid is faster. The bear is faster. The backswing is better for the bear. The attack damage is increased. It now has level 1 ability Defender. It causes 30% of the damage Lone Druid takes to be dealt to the bear instead. It's really nice. It makes Lone Druid takes less when around the bear. Instead of Rabbit as Spirit Link, it grants both of you attack speed and causes some of the damage you deal to restore life to the opposite of you. So the bear deals damage and heals Lone Druid. Lone Druid deals damage and heals the bear. Duration is 10 seconds. Cooldown is a lot. I liked Rabbit and all, but I think this is actually better because it means Lone Druid has survivability. He can actually use it right after he does Savage Roar too, so he Savage Roars you, and then they start hitting you and healing each other. Lunar Blessing.
Savage Roar, you run the opposite direction though.
Lunar Blessing now provides a primary attribute bonus instead of damage, which is way strong. Tanky hero, tankier. Agility hero, attacks faster. Intelligence hero, casts harder. Why not?
Well, it is so good now. Though,
and of course, they had to balance this out. Howl. Now it grants attack speed, armor, and health regen to all player-controlled units on the map. Last 9 seconds. That's just nice.
By the way, they didn't put it as all player. Is that all yourself only, the Lycan, or your whole team?
All player-controlled units. It does not say your player-controlled units.
Does that count illusions?
They are not player-controlled units, I don't think.
Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't going
to maybe it is.
all Chaos Knight illusions.
No, it doesn't work.
Broken.
No. It's not illusions. It's not illusions. It's units. So, for example, you pair with a Beastmaster, I think it might work. Or someone who buys a Necrobolt.
So exactly. Talent changed. Instead of Howl health, it gives Shapeshift critical strike.
And by the way, in Furry, if you think Chaos Knight is scary, think about Terrorblade.
Right. I know. I'm not saying I think Chaos Knight's scary.
We gotta rush, guys. We gotta rush. Skewer cooldown was reduced at late levels. Rework Shockwave. It now releases a wave, pulls units slightly in, deals damage, it slows them. This is nice because it provides you a way to.
So basically, this is how you combo Shockwave, Skewer, RP. There you go.
Stone Gaze no longer grants enemies magic resistance, which means that you don't ruin your team fight by making them stone. It no longer instantly kills illusions, so welcome back, illusion heroes. We've missed you. Mystic Snake no longer changes damage type to pure when against Stone Gazed, which is actually unfortunate.
To be fair, all the illusions can get Stone Gazed as well, by the way, so they're all stunned regardless.
Yeah, but they don't get instantly killed, which is way better. Meepo buffs. Base movement speed was increased. Geostrike is now Ransack. It steals health. It doesn't deal damage, it steals it, so you get health back.
It's actually pretty good, by the way.
And it heals all Meepos.
Oh, yeah.
It is really good.
Clones now drain less of the experience from an area, meaning that you don't have one Meepo show up to your lane and steal all of your experience. Now it's easier just to live with that Meepo there. That talent was reduced on his damage though. This is just a buff all around. Leap now makes Mirana stay facing the same direction so she doesn't turn around like a jerk. Thank you. I hated that. Mischief now always transforms you into a courier when nearby another courier, so you can fake people out. It gives you 0.3 seconds of invulnerability when transforming. This is so good for the pro scene. They can dodge stuns and stuff with this. Mischief cooldown was increased to 20 though, so you couldn't abuse it. This means that the line's going to ult you. Technically speaking, if you had fast enough reactions, you could Mischief and dodge the ult. It's like Manta, the same thing. Waveform cooldown was increased. Thank you. Naga. Mirror image duration was reduced. Cooldown was reduced at late levels. Mana cost was rescaled to be a little more. Incoming damage was reduced. Riptide's been reworked. It's now passive. When she hits you, there's a chance to trigger a Riptide instead of it being inactive. It does
same with the illusions, by the way. All of them can.
The illusions get it too.
Yeah,
it's pretty strong.
Yeah, I don't like it though.
It's better for team fights because before the problem was if she used Riptide, they all use it, but it doesn't stack. 2 illusions are near you. They both use Riptide. You only get hit once. That's. Just
as if you need it for team fights, you already got Song with the Siren.
No, so. I know, but now she's even better because if she goes carry Naga and starts right.
I really don't want the Naga meta to come back. It was boring.
Treant's experience bounty was reduced, so is the gold, so it's not as bad to feed Treant's. Necrophos base attack range was reduced, so he can't be crazy in lane. Heartstopper Aura now provides unit kill regeneration to Death Pulse. It just means that you have to actually level Heartstopper Aura if you want a lot of regen. That's a good change. Reroll Crippling Fear. It's now 375 range Aura. Silences all enemies while they are nearby. It lasts for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. No longer has a mischance at all, which is nice.
This is a very good buff, though. It is.
It can't be dispelled anymore. So this is actually a really big buff, but a negative versus carries like Sven, who will just fight you now. I mean, just say, that's AOE. Okay, I'm silenced, I'm going to hit you, because you don't miss.
It's AoE, by the way.
It's really strong in supports, and people who used to get out of his silence with Manta, because you can't Manta anymore. It's an aura. So it's definitely a buff. Hunter of the Night is no longer as an active, so you can't fly anymore. That's a nerf. Darkness is now Dark Ascension. I know. Caused you to transform into a stronger flying creature that has extra bonus damage, vision. It lasts for 30 seconds. Daytimes turn to night during this. The cooldown is quite long, though. So Night Stalker can't change it to night as often anymore. And he needs to use ult to fly.
It is a proper ult, though. And he gets bonus damage. So his ganky potential goes up through the roof.
And they took away his Crippling Fear cooldown. Instead, it's the Dark Ascension cooldown. That's what ends up being strong.
Basically, this skill basically means that
he's actually nerfed anyway because now Caudle wasn't a big hero, so he's actually not even as helpful as one of the biggest counters he was.
No, but to be fair, you don't pick him for Caudle.
We have another source of break, my friends. Vendetta.
I'll right back.
I mean, it's nice. It's nice.
I'm trying to be done by 7. Shut up. I like the Vengeful Spirit change, I'm going to be honest with you, except that. I know we're not there yet, but I like some of the change.
You might want to look at the Discord.
Lion is my bae, by the way, I agree.
6 slotted Sven versus a
Ogre, multicast now affects targeted offensive items. I cast Dagon. Multicast!
No, it's the Midas.
We'll cast the item to cast again at a different random enemy unit, so not the same people. Multicast no longer provides passive improvements to base abilities, so they're all the same. Ignite range was increased. It always cast 2 projectiles just off the bat. Fire Blast cooldown was rescaled to be lower later. Bloodlust cooldown was rescaled to be lower later. Bloodlust movement speed was decreased to match the new system. This is just a big buff for Ogre in general. I know some of it looks like a nerf, but the fact that you can do random items...
People are playing Ogre core, by the way, so there you go.
Not even, just anything. Like a Scythe, Orchid...
You can get multicast Midas, by the way. So
Midas, whatever. You could do it. Purification now can be cast on spell immune units. Thank you. Replace Repel with Heavenly Grace. Targets an allied unit and applies a strong Dispel. That increases status resistance by 50, 60, 70, 80%, and health regen. The cooldown is relatively low. It lasts for 8 seconds. This is really strong. I will miss the magic immunity, but status resistance can sometimes be better.
I mean, it's 80%. It's almost magic immunity.
And it's a strong Dispel anyway. So, like before, my carry just got hexed. I'll put Repel on, but they're still hexed. Now it's, no, you're not hexed anymore. So there's definitely some benefits, some negative. The health is huge, though. I like that. Guardian Angel AoE was increased dramatically. That's awesome. The cooldown was reduced. That's awesome. And you can get the Heavenly Grace cooldown down to a obnoxious 12 seconds. Right? No, I'm sorry. 6 seconds. That's crazy. Fortune's End damage was increased. OD, Arcane Orb now splashes its bonus damage and 175 AoE. That's a really small AoE, but it's nice for farming. It no longer does bonus damage to illusions. Welcome back, Illusion Heroes, yet again. Replace Essence Aura with Equilibrium. It's a self-buff. Cause all spells damage you deal to restore mana and slow enemy units. That just means you get mana automatically when you cast this. So it's not like a random chance anymore. You have to use it, but you can just get mana back as a guarantee. And changes talent to armor. Replace Heart Spear with Lucky Shot. It gains a 20% chance to apply a debuff that either slows or causes them to be silenced or disarmed. Oh, sorry, it slows and causes them to be silenced or disarmed. So they're always slowed. They might be silenced. They might be disarmed. It does stack. So they can be both in theory. That's really strong. That's crazy strong. I can't even believe that. The armor was nice and all, but the problem was it set it to 0. It didn't reduce it to 0. It set it so it couldn't be negative. So it actually was weak with armor shred teams. Now, that's fine. I don't care about your armor. I'm just going to go ahead and silence and disarm you real quick. Why not? Super strong. Phantom Strike cooldown was reduced. Cast point was reduced. Attack speed was rescaled to be worse early, better late. No longer is an attack limit, so just for a duration. It lasts 2.5 seconds. Mana cost was lower earlier levels. And no, you can actually cast on one unit and attack somebody else now. It won't like get rid of the buff. And Blur's non-evasion passive has been changed into an active. So before, you weren't seen on the map ever. Now instead, you activate it, and you're basically smoked. Enemies are unable to see you, like smoke, until you're within 600 units of an enemy hero or building. It does not dispel when attacking. It lingers before going away. It lasts 25 seconds. The cooldown isn't that long. This basically means that it's even better, because before you could look at the map and see her. You can't anymore. If she uses it, she's just invisible, unless you walk over there. Very scary. PL slow was reduced. Juxtapose, the illusions take more damage. Goodbye to your illusions. Icarus slow was reduced at earlier levels. Dreamcoil's leash, we knew that. More attack damage, more spell lamp. This is making Puck back in the meta, because now he does some really quick stuff at level 15, depending how you build him. I am okay with these changes before anybody complains. Flesh Sheep no longer gives magic resistance. That's fine. He gets enough magic resistance from his strength. He doesn't need it. It now grants HP regen. That's really nice. Early game, that's a reason to get Flesh Sheep, like, early. Dismember strength-based damage was increased. Yes! I will destroy all the supports in my ult now. Sonic Wave knocks you back. That's really strong for team fights. Unstable Current no longer slows and purges randomly. Instead, it now deals damage to every unit within an AoE when it casts. So you don't it doesn't have to just be like one unit that takes damage. It's everybody takes damage. And it doesn't slow you either or purge you. Plasma Field now slows you when it hits you. The slow instances stack. Instead of an Unstable Current cooldown, it's Unstable Current damage. That's really strong, actually. That means he can be a team fighter now because he hits everybody with it. Blink Strike was buffed. Blink Strike damage was nerfed until late game. I think this is great, actually, because I think his Blink Strike was too weak as far as the cooldown was concerned early. Rubik, lots of love. Base damage increased, agility increased, intelligence gain increased. Null Field, now Arcane Supremacy. He gains Spell Amp and causes all debuffs you apply to last longer. Orchid, Scythe, Telekinesis, Atos, Yules. I even like weird things like Heaven's Halberd. This is worse for your team because he doesn't give you the spell resistance, but it's less work for Rubik too because now he doesn't have to switch back and forth. That's a really big amount of Spell Amp too. Spell Steal cast points now a minimum 0.15, so now unfortunately he can't cast spells instantly. Cast range increase on the talent. Instead of a Null Field bonus, he gets a Fade Bolt cooldown, which is nice. Instead of Spell Amp, he gets lower Spell Amp for the talent. That's a nerf for the talents. I love Sandstorm now. I would play Sand King now. It's no longer channeled. And the invisibility ends immediately once you leave the area. Attacking or casting temporarily reveals you, but not entirely. So basically, you cast this ability and you stand inside of it. It's sitting there. As long as you're inside, you're invisible. You can walk out, do stuff, you're invisible, and walk back in, and you're invisible again. The AoE was increased late game. The damage is lowered. Cooldown is more. Duration is less. Looks different. Epicenter AoE growth is now also more regular. So Sandstorm allows you to do a lot of crazy things in lane now because you can put it down and walk away. It also means you got to be careful, though, because you can put it down and start pushing the wave, and even if you stop, it doesn't stop anymore. Like, you used to be able to stop pushing because you'd stop the channel. The benefit, though, is you can put this on a camp and just farm it. You don't have to be there. You just be, like, nearby. Soul Catcher got changed. All enemies in the area lose a percentage of their current health. This is unreasonable. They gain half of it back after 10 seconds. So, example. Pudge has 4k health. Literally. He does 1,600 damage to Pudge. Pudge will get 800 back at the end. He still does 800 damage just with Soul Catcher. It can be dispelled to get your health back all the way, I guess. But still, if somebody... This makes you easy to kill, like with a lion or something. So someone like 2 grand health, it's like, I'm going to take a bunch of it. Now lion health and they're dead. That has so many combos. The Disruption Illusion's health is now determined at the start of the cast, so in case they get healed or whatever, it doesn't change it. And the duration is longer, which is nice. Easier to set arrows up. Base armor increase in Shadow Fiend, quality of life. Serpent wards are now a circle, easier to put someone in the middle. It has an AoE spawn indicator. Concussive shot will hit a creep if no one's nearby. That's okay, I guess. Slaughter is now broken. Base armor increased. Bash the deep. Every 4th attack, you will automatically bash and deal a ton of damage. Slithering Crush stun duration was reduced. Attack and move speed duration was increased dramatically. And the slow amount is more. And the damage was increased as well. His talents are a little bit different, though. So here's the thing. Slaughter rushes at you mid lane to gank. And this is what I heard from somebody else. He already knows he gets a bash proc because it's every 4. He bashed 4 hits ago. So this next one is the 4th one. He runs in and he hits you and bashes you. And then he crushes you after the bash ends. You're never going to leave. The slow is so crazy, long, and slow, you just don't get to go away. You die. Slark, here come the rest of the buffs. Turn rate improved, which is a nerf, actually, because I believe turn rate makes you slower to turn, right, Falcon?
Sorry, what?
Turn rate went from 0.6 to 0.7. That makes you turn slower,
It's an
right?
increased turn rate, yeah. So it's slower.
Yep. Okay, that's nice. Pounce now applies Leash. We talked about that. Shadow Dance got buffed. Crazy. If a hero dies with Essence Shift on them, Slark permanently steals 1 agility. We've always talked about what about if a hero had permanent agility steal? Here it is. It's only 1, no matter how many stacks they have on them. So you have 52 stats stolen from them and they die, you only get 1 permanent agility from them. But it is ridiculous. That is so painful. Like, ouch. coupled with the other buffs that he got, Slack's going to be relevant. Sniper take aim can now double your attack range for your next attack. It goes on cooldown after you use it. That's just nice, I guess. Nether Strike can no longer be cast while rooted. Charge of Darkness now gives you move speed and unlocks the cap, so you can actually move faster than it would be normally. Fix some bugs. Greater bash damage was reduced. Probably because you can be faster now. Instead of empowering haste, you have bulldoze. When you activate it, you get a bunch of move speed and stats resistance. It's crazy. That's really strong for him. Greater bash talent was reduced, and instead of charge speed, he gets bulldoze cooldown. That's okay. Instead of the normal war cry, it gains you and your allied heroes bonus move speed and an HP shield that blocks damage based on the shield's health. Last 10 seconds. The buff ends once the shield's consumed, though. The shield's actually a lot, like 400 health. That makes people really survivable. I mean, I'll miss the armor, but that's nice. Techies is much faster now. Base int was increased. That's nice. It's quality of life. Instead of refraction of spells, it's meld, which makes a lot more sense. Side blade still paralyzes and says a 1.5 meld hit bash. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. The paralyzer is strong too, but bash? What? Whatever. I don't even know how to feel about it. Sunder no longer pierces spell immunity. Terror Blade's ruined. And the reflection cooldown talent got worse. I honestly think that the Sunder not piercing spell immunity on the other nerf that they hit before, he's ruined.
Good.
Anchor Smash now attacks every unit in the area with a bonus damage on top of your attack. So instead of being like this is just this much damage, it does a ton of damage. Ravage damage was increased as well. Gust does more damage with the talent. Choctrum projectile can now hurt ancients. Rolling Death is always pure. The downside, the damage went down considerably. I think this is a nerf overall. It's nice that you don't have to rely on trees necessarily, but the damage lowering is pretty big. The stat reduction was also lower levels. You can make a Rolling Death do more damage if there are trees cut down, but it takes a while to equal out, right? So the difference here is 70 damage. So it would take over 3 trees near you. So it takes 4 trees to get past the old damage. How often are 4 trees within Rolling Death? So it's a nerf, but it has some potential.
If you're fighting in the jungle, yeah.
Yeah, if you're in the trees juking, it would do a lot more. Rolling Death stat went up. We're almost done, guys. Tiny tree grab area damage no longer works when denying. That's really nice. Cooldown was increased. Grow no longer gives stat resistance at all. Thank you. Armor was increased. That's okay. Avalanche is different now. It stuns you progressively over the duration of Avalanche instead of just at the beginning. It just does damage and hit mini stuns as it goes. The
that means
duration
you
was
can
also
pop
increased.
BKB in between. So if you get jumped
Yeah,
on,
you have a
can
chance to pop a BKB or something. The AoE was also increased. The cooldown was reduced. Total damage was rescaled to be a little bit worse at early levels. Now the toss avalanche damage bonus is increased from ×2 to ×3. It is actually dramatic. I tested this in the lobby. It is ridiculous. You do so much damage. Instead of match resistance, he gets move speed, and he gets less cooldown off of avalanche because the cooldown was lowered. Almost done. Trent. Nature's Guys will go on cooldown if he gets hit. So now instead of when he's fading, if you take damage, it resets the counter, which is really crappy. I think you can walk through trees now. And attack unit out roots and does a ton of damage, actually. It's a lot. So he's really good for a lane harasser, but you'll just hit him before he goes invis, and that's a really big weakness for him.
I mean, he gets buffed anyway.
Troll might be the second most changed hero in the game. Base damage was increased just to be more normalized. It brought up the minimum, so it's really nice. As Berserker's Rage now applies Ensnare. The proc chance went up, though. And you can now buy Basher and Abyssal Blade, which you should. You just should. Because now it's every other hit. Bash! Ensnare! Bash! Ensnare! Bash! Ensnare! Forever. Fervor stack limit was increased from 7 to 12, which means he's going to hit that attack speed cap. Fixed just a bug. Fervor now starts with 0 stacks instead of 1 when attacking a new unit. That just takes longer to ramp up. Battle Trance is entirely different now. You go into uncontrollable trance, forcing you to attack the closest target in an AoE. If it dies, you go to the next target in AoE. You're unslowable, cannot die. You get a ton of attack speed, movement speed, and lifesteal. It lasts 6.5 seconds. Cooldown's in 90 seconds, though.
Just so you know, you can still use items and skills while you do when you're this. You can't just control the move. Yes, you can. I tested. You can still use items. So basically, you can press Satanic, BKB, switch between range and
It
melee.
gets better. Change Battle Trance, Basic Dispel, to Battle Trance Strong Dispel. Can cast while stunned. Everybody move on Troll Warlord! Stun, Finger of Death.
No,
He's going down. Ult. He's now unkillable for 6.5 seconds and just unloads.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. And that stops Hex now, because Hex just got that weakness that it can be purged.
But,
just
but
unloads.
isn't it when you get when you get hexed, you can't cast spells? So
That's not true.
is it not?
No, the only thing that stops you from casting spells is Silence, if they're an active spell. And Cyclone. No, that's not true. You can do it out of Cyclone too, because there are second ults when he has Zags out of Cyclone. I believe it's just Silence. There might be one like weird other ability, but it's just Silence. So yeah, you can do it while hexed. It's crazy.
Well, I'll check that in a second.
Yeah, check it. Replace Frozen Sigil with Tag Team, so no more slow on the normal thing. You cause affected enemies, it's an aura, to take more physical damage from attacks and be slowed during it. So it's around you instead of the Sigil, so you don't have to worry about the Sigil getting killed. This is really strong, actually. Tusk is a really good team fighting hero. Ganking too. Atrophy Aura now provides a permanent damage bonus when a hero dies under the aura. That's so strong. So basically, Underlord's a great offlaner now because all I need to do is be part of a couple team fights and he gets permanent damage. That's crazy.
Just so you know, I just checked. Hex works on it, basically.
He can't get out of it?
So, so Hex silences, mute, and disarm. It does not break, so only his passes still work.
Got it.
However, all
so
his
Hex,
active skills.
Hex and Silence are the things to stop him.
Yeah.
Dying slower.
He's currently broken. So
hey, by the way, Atrophy Aura now has the increased range.
Yeah, of course. Flesh Golem no longer amps damage. Slow is now constant. Enemy units in 400 AoE lose 7% of the current HP per second as match damage. That's pretty ridiculous. Just being near him is like a giant Radiance burn. And he gains a ton of health just when he activates it. On top of his health from decay. So he just gets to be unkillable. Just fixed a bug. Venge Aura no longer creates illusions of dying allies. It now creates a scepter effect of Venge when you die. So you will be Vengeful Spirit and control her during the duration of your death. Without the ability to cast spells. Gaining Scepter unlocks casting of spells.
Sorry, just a heads up that while Troll is stunned, Troll cannot cast a spell. Just so you know.
It says he can.
You cannot.
It says he can. Can be cast while stunned.
I don't know. It might be a bug then.
We'll just have to test it at some point.
I mean, well, Troll is
I
currently
gotta finish
bugged
this.
anyway.
I gotta finish this. Vengeful Aura now creates Scepter effect. I said that. Cast range rescaled. It's lower, which is really sad. And now it's 2 charges though, which is nice. Plague Ward collision size increased, which means they can block you easier. Instead of 200 cast range, he just moved the Gale Impact down and gave Spell Lifesteal, which is ridiculous. Nether Toxin AoE was increased. Nice. More break.
It's a buff.
I know. Nether Toxin damage was increased, so Viper is nice. Fatal Bonds now bounces, so instead of having to hit units in the area, it'll bounce to all units in a row, so it's much better. And it doesn't ignore units in Fog of War. The Swarm now has higher attack priority, meaning that it's easier to hit the bugs. Geminate attack was nerfed a little bit at earlier levels. Death Ward does more damage, which is ridiculous. Skeleton's health was reduced, but now they reincarnate 3 seconds after dying the first time. Nimbus no longer automatically selected when hitting tab. I don't care. But the Nimbus no longer benefits from cooldown reductions. The casting, it used to cast faster when you had cooldown reduction. I saw it on Mythbusters, Dota Cinema. It used to do that. It's crazy, but it doesn't do that anymore, which is great. All right, so I am going to go over more of this as we start to stream. For everybody who's watching this on YouTube, this is going to be its own separate video just for you guys' appreciation. I know you just watched it, so you know that because you can see about, let's just call it 60 seconds left. But I don't normally do that, but I decided that it's probably appropriate considering how big the patch is. So I'm going to have more impressions the more we play, so everybody who's going to watch me on stream or watch my following video, I will have more impressions about this. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Everybody on stream, I'll see you in about 3 minutes. Everybody on YouTube, see you next time.